check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I sold them out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run at my pace. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the game. I told them this ain't a game.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, FinStake with CB83. Hey, coming to you, you know what it is. It's another banger. Not in good spirits, but I'm not going to let the Miami Dolphins take my joy. They did give it to me partially, but I'm not letting it happen. So shout out to everybody in the chat. I see you guys in the building. Let's see who we got in here. The homie Raul P was in here first. He says, I'm still in shock. I am too. Trust me. And we'll get into the details of it. We'll have the discussion, the tough discussions about what this team really is and what they're really looking like thus far. And I'm not going to let one bad game determine them, right? I'm not going to judge them based off one bad game. But we do need to have some discussions about this team moving forward with the injuries, with the current situation defensively, offensively. I mean, we got to talk about it. We got to discuss it. So shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to the homie, Raul P, coming through and showing love and support. Appreciate you, my boy. You already know what time it is. We still going up for you. Even though we got crazy L yesterday, we still going up. Let's go. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. The homie Q is in the building. He says, open up the panel. Oops, I may drop the link for sure. I got a few of the homies coming through. We're going to discuss it, right? Have the discussions about what's going on. And we'll see. I mean, we'll see how the flow of the show is going. And I may open it up for a few people to just come up and have the discussions. So let's go. We'll get into it. We'll get into it for sure, Q. Shout out to the homie Q for coming through. Yes, sir. Let's go. We crank up for Q. Let's get it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mudbones in the building. He says McStubborn has left the building. We got to get into talking about McDaniel and the play calling. My gosh. Come on. Brutal, right? It's brutal at times, right? You just want to see us line up, be physical, and get 3 yards sometimes and punch it in on the goal line like Tennessee did at times. Man, it's tough. I mean, we got to talk about it. We got to have a discussion. Big ups to the Patreon members, gang, the captains of the squad over there on the Patreon. Q and Riggy holding it down as the captains. The captains hold down the squad with a larger donation than the regular squad, but I also appreciate my squad. My squad is Irv, William Perry, and Hooked Up Joe. And who's going to be next on the squad, man? We holding it down over on the Patreon until we get the monetization back, which will happen in the next month or so. Just in the process of working through the details of that, and that'll happen, man. But shout out to you guys for coming through. Shout out to the Patreon members. Love you guys. Appreciate the support. You already know what time it is. The homie Canes is in the building. Salute CB83 and everyone. Salute, Canes. Salute, homie. What's up with you, my boy? Young Landers in the building. Young Lander says hi. Milky's in here. Milky says, I'm pissed off. How the F we lost to the Titans. And then she says, F-U-C-K. Jeez, Milky. Milky, watch your language. G says, we straight bullies. No, we got bullied. We got cooked yesterday. We got cooked.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
We got cooked yesterday. All right, let's call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. Mudbone says not left the building. Okay, all right. G says we could have been superstars, right? That's how it happens sometimes, man. Hey, that's how it happens. But we'll get into it. I mean, gee, it's one game, but dang, it's a bad one. bad way to go out. We got a lot to discuss offensively, defensively, additions, injuries, hard knocks. What are we gonna see tonight? The debacle airs for the world to see tonight. Man, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. S. Harris says he's joining the Patreon tonight. I appreciate you, my boy. I appreciate the support. We got to give a shout out. We got to go up for my man S. Harris, who's been supporting the channel, been rocking with me. He said he's going to go join the Patreon tonight. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Now, let's go ahead and get into it, man. My first guest is here. He's in the back. I got a lot of respect for this dude. Played in the NFL, right? Been there, done that. Does a good job of just being able to have reasonable takes, right? And understands the game of football, understands the nuance of it. It's the big homie, Doc Brown. What's going on, Doc?
What up, my guy? Can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah. You got some good volume. I hear you in the car driving, huh?
Yeah. But I want to make sure we good. And by the way, y'all go check my man out on that Patreon, man. He good for it. This content is excellent. Hey, man, y'all got an NFL guy for free, dog. So help my man out. Let's go.
Yeah,
this dude is all these fake Dolphin content people, man. Y'all got the real with CD. He gonna give it to you live, raw, uncut. So go ahead and check that Patreon, that Cash App, all of that. Take care of my man.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate the support, Doc. Doc is always showing love. I do got the links in my bio, too, if you want to support. Hey, it just helps the channel, man. But, Doc, man, we got to have a tough conversation, and we got to start it off by kind of addressing, like, the game in total, right? Just give me your thoughts on some of what you saw on both sides of the ball last night and why you felt like, you know, the Miami Dolphins dropped this L.
Well, the first thing I would challenge Dolphin fans to take a pause, man. This is the NFL, and when I hear, you know, that you only beat weak teams in this thing, this is the NFL, and on any given Sunday you can lose. And so, for me, while I was kind of shocked at the way it happened.
Yeah.
No loss in the NFL surprises me. I mean, you think about the fact that we put 70 on Denver, and Denver comes back and beats Kansas City. And so, you know, as much as this is a painful loss, we got to pump our brakes on some of the negative thoughts and negative talk. That being said, we didn't play well last night. I don't think that we were
breaking up
Mike McDaniels and his.
You were breaking up just a little bit. Go ahead. You said we played bad, and then you got into some Mike McDaniels talk.
Okay, so I thought we didn't play well, and I think Mike McDaniels and the team and may have taken this football team for granted, and when you do that, you're gonna get beat. I mean, there's enough blame to go around. I thought Tua was mediocre at best. Obviously, the offensive line was bad. I thought the defense, even as I was watching the game, I thought ultimately the defense would be able to carry us to a victory, even though the offense was struggling. And you know, they give up 2 easy touchdowns in 3 minutes, and so that, you know, for those people who are saying it's Tua or Mike McDaniel or the offensive line or the defense, it was everybody. You know, it was everybody.
Yeah, I think it was. And honestly, when you look at, and I'll start with the offense, right? Offensive performance, the turnover kills you, right? Turnover in the red zone kills you. Not being efficient when you get in the red zone is a killer, right? You don't get many opportunities to get there. So when you get there, you gotta execute and do what you need to do to score points. And I think that's my biggest takeaway from this offense is that when you get in there, when you get within the 5, you get within the 4, at that point, this team has to be finesse, right? And I don't know that they have to be finesse. I just feel like that's the approach that Mike McDaniels takes, right? He's never just going to line up and try to punch you in the mouth, which bothers me, right? It bothers me tremendously because I was having the conversation about this earlier, and it's like, hey, the fastest way to get to the touchdown is a straight line, right? You do all that running around and all these low percentage plays, these throws, these fade routes to the end zone. It's just low percentage plays. You need a lot to go right for that to be executed perfectly. So the play calling in the red zone, I think, is an issue, right? Defensively, man, you just got to be more aggressive, right? I feel like this team, this defense, is the type of defense that, hey, you can go out and be a little bit aggressive. I mean, you can play them tough, right? You got some corners who can play. You can send some guys, right? Now you're dealing with Duke Riley. You're dealing with some guys who usually aren't in those positions, right? But you still got to find a way. And where there's a will, there's a way. I just don't like to see guys sit back and carve us up. I hate it. I hate it for us, and I hate it for our team, man.
Well, I think
Now,
that the issue for me is Mike McDaniel's particularly in the red zone, goes against everything that he believes in, everything that's in his DNA. His DNA from uh, 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 the guys in San Francisco tree is run the ball down there, and for him to just go away from what is in his DNA and try to come up with something new. That whole Shanahan tree is run that damn football.
yeah.
And for him to go away from that is really concerning. And I think, again, and I've spoken to you, we've talked about this in private. I think that's where Vic Fangio has to assert some of the senior leadership and say, look at here, young fella, run that damn football.
Yeah, and that's honestly, and let me get the homie Lou in here. Lou, what's good? What you? What's popping? What's going
I,
on, bro?
who did you say?
That's
You
the homie
you you
Lou,
know
bro.
you know who it is. You know
Who
who it
is
is.
is that the real OG or the fake OG? I be trying to figure out sometimes which
Hey, I
one
don't
that
know
is.
The
about
real,
that.
the real, the real OG. You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
who it is.
Oh, okay. It's usually they be. I don't know, man. I just be trying to figure it out. My bad. This the kind of real one.
Yeah. This the real OG. That's
Nah,
Lou,
this
man.
this
Lou, what's
this the
going
real
on
one.
with you, bro? How you? I
This the
mean,
real one.
and I think Doc. Before I get to Lou, and I got you, Lou. We coming up next. Before I get, I mean, you talked about Fangio telling him to run the damn ball. He's gotta be looking at Shanahan and having conversations with Shanahan about like what you should be doing in these situations. And he should be taking a page out of his book. Now he does have Christian McCaffrey, which is a little bit different situation, right? But
I don't know if
Shanahan
it's different
but
though, because
Shanahan don't get cute though. Like he's
and I don't know if
typically
it's different because we're averaging, 5.3 yards a carry. So while the name on the back of the jersey is different, the production when we run the football is the same.
but see, my thing is, Doc, my thing is with us compared to them is that they could be physical. They don't mind running it up inside, right? And being physical with teams, right? I don't really see that from us as much. I see us a lot of finesse, a lot of outside, a lot of running away from people, right? And that's my thing with us. It's just, bro, we are a very finesse team. And I don't think that's a winning formula when it comes to the playoffs. Like, there's no reason in the last three drives of that game, like we shouldn't have been like milking the clock, running the football, 4 minute offense, and just ending it. Like we could have ended that game a couple of times on offense, but we just couldn't sustain drives by running the football because we just didn't have it in the trenches, and also it was a lack of commitment to it. Like I felt like Mike McDaniel did get away from it a little bit in the second half. But Lou, what's your thoughts, man, on the game?
Well, listen. As far as the game goes, it's disappointing.
Yeah,
But I did kind of wanted to touch on when I first came up here. I was listening to Doc. I think Doc's making a good point. The pushback I would have. I think we can always go, well, the Shanahan tree and the guys here. We got to understand, bro. Mike McDaniel is his own man.
Yes.
You know, he was in the shadow of those Shanahan tree and stuff. And again, when you get empowered to have your own team, I think what you see, again, everybody wants this balance, right? And I get it, but that's not what Mike McDaniel wants. Obviously, he can say what it is, or he can paint whatever picture he wants to paint. But what you see is what you get. I don't think that Vic Fangio can come in here, even though he has seniority on him. Again, this is Mike McDaniel's team, and I think Mike McDaniel just sees guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and that's the strength of this team. I tried to tell everybody from the jump, early this beginning of the season, we are a pass first football team. Whether people like it or not, whether you disagree, I'm not here to debate that. We can argue about it until we turn blue in the face. But no, bro, listen, we passed the ball. I think Mike McDaniel has a confidence in Tua, and I think CB, when you brought up Christian McCaffrey, I think that's a great point. If Mike McDaniel maybe had Christian McCaffrey or a Derrick Henry or a Dalvin Cook in years past and stuff, okay, that's a legitimate running back. And even though Mostert's having a great season,
Yeah.
like, bro, I don't mind the ball in Tua Tagovailoa's hand. I really don't. Like this narrative that, oh well, we should have ran the ball here and there. Bro, again, CB, you break down the film. I'm not saying we shouldn't have ran the ball. And in certain situations, I completely agree. But at the end of the day, bro, there's only one guy on this team, or again, two guys now that are mentioned in the MVP conversation. One is the quarterback to throw the ball, and one is a receiver that's catching the ball. None of the running backs are mentioned in this MVP conversation. And listen, the title of the show tonight, CB, and I think you hit it spot on, is these tough conversations. Again, we've had these conversations privately, and now they're starting to come out publicly.
Yeah.
This is just another indication. Big time moment, not so much the game, right? But everybody understands what this was. Monday Night Football, all eyes on you. Again, players that we depend
Now
on, they shrink, man. They come up short.
Is Tua a fraud in these primetime moments? Like, does he fold like a lawn chair when things get tough? And I'm gonna let you go first, Doc. Because, I mean, right now, I said the other day that we've only had a small sample size. We haven't had a lot to look at, right? As far as, like, game-changing moments or game-winning moments, we haven't had a lot to look at from Tua. But as of recently, I mean, we're starting to see it, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Is Tua... Does Tua fold in these moments? Are the lights a little bit too much for him, Doc? What's your thoughts?
I mean, the reality of it is you are what the film says you are.
Ooh.
And in these situations, he has not performed. And you can be a Tua near, a Tua hater, whatever you want to say. But when you turn the film on, it is what it is. And, he just did not make plays. And I could give you multiple reasons why. I could say that Waddle ran some bad routes. I could say the offensive line. I could say all of those things. But in the ultimate part of it is the quarterback didn't make the play. And that is what it is.
Yeah. That's what's a little bit disturbing for me at this point, Lou. And I think, Lou, you brought the question up, and it's like, man, we're a couple years in with Mike McDaniel. Tua has some opportunities in these moments to elevate his guys, to elevate his team. And he's not going down there and getting it done, which is concerning to me because I feel like the kid has all the tools. I think you see him step up in the pocket and make plays where he needs to at times, but it's like in these defining moments, right? He finds a way to kind of screw it up somehow. And I understand there's a lot to go along with that. The offensive line not giving him time, players not making plays, not being where they're supposed to be. But you still want to see a guy in these moments, hey, even if I got to step up and run for, a first down, right? You still got to see him try a little bit harder. And the fact that you don't get the ball off, even give a guy an opportunity for a 50-50 ball or interception. I just don't like the thought of that. So that just shows me
Well,
in these moments that you're a bit trigger shy,
well,
right?
CB and CB, watch this, right? Because this is what's frustrating, at least for me, when I watch Tua. He's done it before, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
the problem I have, and I could bring up two games. CB, he put the team on his back last year against Baltimore, against the Ravens, right?
Yep.
But that's in a week 2 matchup. Really, Tua in the back of his head, right? He was playing loose there. You know why? Because it's week 2, and he knew whatever happens in this game, I still have 15 weeks to make up for it, right? So you could play a little bit loose, right? This
Yeah.
game, week 1 against the Chargers, he put the team on his back when everything wasn't perfect, right? The running game really wasn't there. Tua, again, playing comfortable, playing loose, letting that thing sling, right?
Yeah.
Because, again, you look back, you got 16, 17 more weeks to go. But now, again, you're in week 14. You're on Monday Night Football. You're playing for the number 1 seed. You are no longer the hunter. You are the huntee. People are looking for you guys, right? Like the pressure is on the Miami Dolphins. And I just think sometimes the moments get to him, right? Like that's what's frustrating. We've seen him
Right.
when things ain't going right. Again, Baltimore last year, week 2. Week 1 this year, Chargers. Two was playing free, playing loose, delivering the ball, making plays, right? Even off script. Those play, the play he made week 1 down the sideline to Tyreek Hill, bro, off platform. Look at the throw he made because he wasn't thinking. It was like free, loose. Hey, I'm just out here playing the game that I love, that I know I can play.
Right.
But in a game like yesterday, again, pressure moment. You're playing for the number 1 seed. People are talking to you about you guys in the media. It's late in the season. Bro, it just felt like, again, watching him yesterday, he never looked comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never.
I
And
agree with you.
why is it in those pressure moments is, again, he plays his worst football.
Now, and Doc, I'm gonna come to you right after this, but you had some feedback. That's why I was muting you while you were
No, cool.
yeah. I'll come to you in a second right now. But you said some things like never, right? And I don't like to use definitive words like that because he did have some good moments in yesterday's game. Like, he drove us down the field on the first drive. Even on the second drive, he was still moving the ball. He made some throws, and he made some good throws throughout the night. Like, he took a shot in there, hit Waddle on one. Waddle got blew up. Waddle had some great catches. He also had some miscommunications thing last night as well. Tyreek had some good catches. So some guys made some plays. Tua made some plays last night, but in the moments late in the game, it just wasn't there. He wasn't making them. And I think it's partly to do with Mike McDaniel not giving him the opportunity to make the plays because Tyreek's on the field. The play calling's a lot different, which that's a problem in itself, right? You still got Chosen Anderson. You still got Cedric Wilson Jr. You still got Claypool sitting on the sideline. Like, find a way to get receivers on the field that can make plays. You're not telling me Chosen Anderson can't come in and make some of these plays, right? You're not telling me Claypool can't come in and make plays, right? But they got to figure it out. And that's my biggest thing is that they got to try to find a way to figure that shit out. And that's where we are right now. I think Doc was having some issues, but he'll probably be back in a sec. But that's the offense, right? We kind of discussed the offense. What's your thoughts on the defense last night?
Man, listen, they got a defensive score with Siler's pick 6. That was nice. I thought for the most part, man, they played well. Like D-Hop, again, is going to get his yards, what he brings. For me, again, those last 2 drives, bro, there's a reason that nobody being down 14 points or 13 points or more in the NFL had never came back in 4 minutes. I think the number was 767 times that's happened, and it was 0 for 767.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think Vic Fangio, again, especially against a rookie quarterback and Will Levis, I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more pressure, not sit in a prevent defense and just give them like life, right? Like that. I mean, they had done nothing pretty much offensively all game to kind of scare you. And then all of a sudden you get a 13-point lead with 4 minutes to go, and now you're playing prevent. Like, why do that?
I don't understand it, man. I really don't understand it. And I don't understand letting D Hop kind of eat you up all night, bro. I mean, he has 7 catches for like, $115 or something like that. I mean, and he had a touchdown. It's like, at some point, you got to take the best guy away. He was really the only guy on the field making plays for him.
That's it. Yep.
Right? Like put somebody on him and then put somebody over the top of him. It's not hard to do. But I felt like D Hop was lining up in the slot, and then you would have Cater take him, and you just had a lot of chasing, a lot of guys trying to figure out. And the secondary honestly looked lost to me last night. They looked like they were kind of out of position for the most part. No help over the top with D Hop, just X being left on an island by himself to get burned up. And I've seen this before with X. D Hop always gives X a hard time. I would have liked to see put Ramsey on him or something. And switch it up, do something. But Fangio's still not taking away the best guy on the field, and that's I think my biggest concern is because when it comes down to it, like we play some really good receivers coming up. Like we got CeeDee Lamb, we got some of these guys who can really play. Garrett Wilson, all these guys. Take some of these guys away out of the game, like you did in some of these previous games, and we'll have a better shot at winning defensively. But if you're not going to stop these guys and you're going to let them go off and do whatever they want to do, we're going to struggle defensively. And that's just the nature of it. It's the nature of it.
I mean, listen, I get it. I just look like D Hop is, again, he's not D Hop from 5-6 years ago, but he's still, an elite wide receiver.
He's still good enough to be a possession guy. I mean, he's still good enough to catch the ball. Yeah.
But I don't think he's the sole reason we, like, even with the 7 catches and over the 100 yards and the touchdown, he's not, like, I'm fine with giving that up. I don't think the defense, again, for me, and this is just my opinion, I don't think the defense played bad overall. I think they played pretty well for basically 3.5 quarters. Yeah. And the last 2 drives, it was just, we were going to sit in this prevent. We're going to sit in zone. We're going to give you everything you want. We'll give you a couple chunk plays here and there and let you just, go up and down the field. And for me, why? Like, again, last year with Boyer, it was too much of the zero blitz. And just pointing out last night, it was just too much of that sitting back. Like, it's one thing if Tennessee had demonstrated anything during the game
that they could beat you.
They could beat you, right? Like, okay, I get it. Then you want to play prevent. Okay, at least I would understand that more, CB. But they showed you nothing offensively, bro, all game that they could do anything. And then, like, I just don't understand what Vic was doing in the last 2 drives.
And I don't know if it's necessarily that they played prevent, right? I just think they were so focused on not getting beat deep or giving up the big play that everything underneath was wide ass open, right? And you're talking, D Hop running all the way across the field on like crossers, deep crossers, and just being wide open underneath because they don't want to get beat deep. It's like, bro, you still got to play, right? It's not about getting beat at this point, getting beat deep. Just play football. And I think sometimes, I don't know, these coaches get so caught up in like, not letting the guy beat you for a touchdown that you just forget to just play him tight. Just play him tight, right? If a guy gets beat, he gets beat. I mean, that's the nature of the game. But play guys tight and throw some help over the top so you got a safety over there, man. You just got to play smart. And that's the thing about our defense. I just think at sometimes, and I'm not saying this game is on them, I'm just saying they don't play smart football. Right. And I think that's part of it. And that's where I think we need to be better is just playing smarter in certain parts of the game. For real.
But it's confusing to me, and maybe I'm wrong. And, I don't want to say something that is incorrect, but I could have swore, didn't Holland participate in practice this week?
I think Holland was a participant. But I think he ended up being like a last-minute scratch. right?
And why do you think that is?
Because I think Mike McDaniel thinks that he could get away with sitting certain guys versus certain NFL football teams because they're not as good as people may think they are, right? And it came back to bite him yesterday. Armstead sat, Holland sat, Robert Hunt sat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are guys that were kind of on the fence to play, but last minute they were kind of out. I think I don't think we expected Robert Hunt to play, but I think Armstead and Holland probably could have gave it a go. I don't know. But I think you're starting to realize that, hey, without your dogs, you're gonna struggle. And you lose a guy like Connor Williams. What does that mean for this offensive line moving forward?
I mean, it basically means unless you're bringing up that kid Olave or whatever from the practice squad, Liam Eichenberg is going to be your center. That's basically what it means.
Yeah.
So, bro, and again, now, Isaiah Wynn being out, now you're looking at Robert Jones. I didn't think Robert Jones played well last night. And then Lester Cotton, bro, he was awful yesterday as well. So, I mean, bro, and think about it. I mean, look at the Jets front four. Look at Dallas's front seven coming in. You got Buffalo. We know what they possess in the front seven.
The Ravens.
Like the Ravens, bro. This could be a problem, Stevie.
Yeah, and I mean, Mike McDaniel has always, he's always had a shuffling offensive line. And that's the thing that bothers me most about the offense is that this offensive line continues to be shuffled week in and week out. You can't get 5 guys in to play and just get comfortable. It's constantly moving pieces everywhere. And when you have that happen, your quarterback is in a situation where, he's got guys coming in and out of the lineup. It's just, it becomes too much. I don't think it's sustainable if you have guys shuffling in and out of the lineup. And I think that's going to be a problem moving forward. I thought these guys would be able to stay healthy, right? If anybody was going to get hurt, I would think it would be guys like Armstead, of course. But I thought it would be a guy like Austin Jackson, too, who struggled with staying healthy and staying on the field. Now you're dealing with Connor Williams out for the season, and he was in and out of the lineup before. And then you're shuffling Lester Cotton, Eichenberg, and all of these guys around. Wynn is now out. It's like, damn, like the shit is piling up at this point. So that's going to be a struggle moving forward. And we're going to have to bring a guy in quick. And we need to get it done. But, hey, I got the homie backstage, one of the so-called the realest in the community. But
who?
Yeah, that's what I said, too. Shout out to the homie Ellen Dolphin fan.
That legend business has just picked up, gentlemen. Hey, what's good?
What's going on, man? What's up with you?
Man, still reeling from last night, bro. Still a little disappointed, but we'll make it. We'll be all right.
What's your thoughts, bro? I mean, is the season over for the Miami Dolphins? That's what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are saying the season is over.
Well, I don't think the season is over with, but I don't. I want to. I'll be completely transparent as far as and again, I hope I'm proven to be wrong. But even if Connor Williams hadn't gotten hurt, I felt like I don't know, man. It's like I'm a fan of this team. I'm a fan of everything about this team, personnel wise, coaching, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like something is missing. You know what I mean? And something is missing. We can speculate what that is, but they just right now, there's just not, they're not a championship. They don't like a championship team. They don't have a championship mentality, and it's just not what happened yesterday. But, we've seen them all year play down to the level of their, inferior competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just not moving and producing on all cylinders right now. And as of right now, again, this could change in a matter of weeks. We've seen teams turn their seasons around, right? Yeah. So, but the season is not over in terms of the playoffs, but I'll be the first to admit, as far as my Super Bowl aspirations coming into the season, that took a massive hit after last night, bro.
wee. So we
It
ain't
did.
talking Super Bowl no more. Now,
This-
you said a lot, but I think you brought up a good point. This team is missing something, right?
Mhm.
Something defensively, something offensively, and I mean, I think it's hard to pinpoint what that is, but I think the locker room, this team is missing like a couple dogs on both sides of the ball, right? And a lot of these guys are nice guys, right? The Bradley Chubbs, the Andrew Van Ginkels, you know, the David Long Jr.'s, the Ramseys, the X. I think this unit is missing a couple dogs, a couple dudes who are just nasty and willing to go get it at all costs. Now, they go in and bring a guy in like Melvin Ingram. So he got worked out. I heard they signed him. I'm not saying Melvin Ingram is that dog, but he's going to be a guy that kind of pushes these guys in the right direction. And hopefully he comes in and makes a difference. I mean, we're short a little bit of everywhere. Outside linebacker, inside linebacker. Hopefully he can come in and be a rotational piece, JPP. Hopefully some of these guys start getting moved into the fold. And I didn't see JPP none last night. Like what?
Yeah, I think he got 3 reps, I think, but he was not existent for sure. I didn't even know I mean, I didn't even see him on the field. I didn't even notice him on the field.
Right. So I mean,
But
ahead,
you know what though? But you know what though? In terms of him specifically, I think it's a little unrealistic to put it, at this stage to put like a high level of expectation on him right now. They hired,
of course.
he was on the practice squad. He's an older player. It's going to take him a while to get up to speed, physically and mentally. So I'm not ready to really light him on fire just yet. But yeah, he was pretty non-existent last night for sure.
Well,
Lewis, you're breaking up a little bit. We can't even hear you right now. You back? Nah, I think we lost Lou.
That's a very good thing.
But
that's a good thing.
I'll pose this question to you, CB, because
go ahead. Yeah.
When I hear you saying we're missing something or
We're
whatever, I really don't know if we are, I don't think that gets solved this season. So I'm with EM there. The Super Bowl aspirations, then I would say is gone. But I just want to pose this question to you. Why is it that the problems with Miami, I'll use the boxing analogy, right? Like
we get punched in the mouth.
Everybody is tough, CB, before the fight, right? The build-up leading to the fight, the press conferences, you can get into someone's face, you're barking, they're barking, everybody, it is what it is. But then when you get 2 jabs to your nose and a right cross, how do you respond to that? And it just seems like, Miami on paper again and looking at certain matchups, like Tennessee, we all said, me included, I thought it was a scrimmage game. I thought we were going to have no problems. Tennessee came into Hard Rock yesterday, punched Miami in the mouth, and it just seems like Miami don't like to punch back. Like once they get punched, like if we jump up to a 14-0 lead, CB, a 17-3 lead, that's when Miami can be the bullies. But in a 10-7 ball game or a 10-10 ball game, and we're getting, it's nick and tuck and punch for punch, it just seems like our guys stop throwing punches.
And honestly, Lou, that's been my concern about this team is that when you get into a tough grudge match with a team and you're going toe for toe, usually the more physical team is going to rise to the top, right? And that's what I've seen a couple times. Even when we played the Buffalo game, even when we played the Philly game, it was just like the more physical team just started pressing on us and pressing on us and pressing on us to the point where we folded like a lawn chair. And I think that's my biggest concern about this football team is just we're too finesse, we're too soft.
Well,
and we
CB,
don't, and it starts in the trenches. Like, let's be honest.
CB, Lou. Well, I want to kind of present this question to y'all, right? Because we all know when you talk about the implementation of physicality, right? That's a mentality.
It is.
Is what that is more than anything.
It is.
And generally, that tends to be in a positive way or a negative way, a reflection on the head coach. So I'm just presenting a question here So, in you two gentlemen's opinion, is that?
Hey,
Oh, hey, listen.
Mike McDaniel's got some soft ass play calling. I'm telling you that
Oh
right now.
shit.
That shit is finesse.
Is it a reflection
That's
on the coach?
that shit is a reflection of Mike McDaniel offensively.
It
It's
look.
not setting the tone. It's not physical. It's not, hey, we're gonna punch you in the mouth.
He
Like
tried.
even if you do stop Tyreek and you do stop Waddle, you still should be able to line up and say, hey, well, if you gonna play like that and you're gonna drop back and you're not gonna play us, we're gonna run it right at you all damn game, and
Mm,
you better be ready to go because you're gonna be in for
mm,
a dogfight. And that's not what we're doing, right?
mm,
I mean, we're still trying to pass the ball and everybody's covered. Bro, just run the ball. They basically
mm,
begging you to run the football at them, right?
mm.
And we still won't do it. So yeah, I think that is a little bit of Mike McDaniel. And that's a little bit of that new coaching style that I talk about always. It's like these new coaches, they want to be, innovative, and they want to do all this innovative shit. Sometimes you just need to be able to line up and run the damn football at
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Yeah, move people.
And
Move people.
put a fullback on a linebacker and say, hey, we about to get these 3 fucking yards, bro. Like, and I don't see that from this team. This team doesn't have that, hey, we about to get these 3 fucking yards mentality. Let's lock up. Right? I just don't see that from these guys. Now the defense, I can see a little bit of that on the defense. But offensively, it's just too finesse. And when you're throwing fade routes on the goal line, you finesse. You're
Hey,
real finesse.
and CB, to address that comment, AB's comment, he brought up Big Fangio. No, the defense is physical enough.
Yeah,
You saw that last night,
they
right?
stopped the run.
Now,
They
now,
2 yards a
bro, they were
carry.
exactly, bro. And we all know what Tennessee brings in terms of the run game. What they love to do,
Is
part of
run
what
the ball.
bro, they're a physical football team, and no, they matched that on defense. We matched their level of physicality on offense. Now, offensively, that's a whole nother issue, and they've been consistent in that regard all year, with the exception of the first game of the season. So no, I do see physicality on defense, and again, we all know how tough, hard nosed. Again, that's why I go back to the point about it being a reflection on the head coach or the coordinator, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. This defense is a direct reflection in terms of the physicality of their overseer, which is Vic Fangio. Well, that's why I pose a question on offense, because the offense, to your point, it seems to be they get caught up at times in trying to outsmart the opposition too much, as opposed to just, you know what, I'm going to beat my hands on you. I'm going to move you off the line of scrimmage, and we're going to go get these, to your point, we're going to go get these 3 to 4 yards. And when you listen to Mike McDaniel at the podium, what does he sound like? He tries to sound like too much like he's the smartest guy in the fucking room.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's his personality, right? And I think he wants to be innovative out there in the football field. But I think there's a time and a place. Like, sometimes you can do that, and I think sometimes you can't. And I think last night was a game where, hey, just line up and run the football. Like, get in there, run inside, run outside zone, and just keep running it. Sometimes you're not going to get all the yardage you want to get. But if you keep pressing teams and you keep running it right and running it left, you're gonna eventually break one. And I think that's the nature of the zone scheme, is that you're not always gonna get 5, 6, 7 yards, but you may get 1 here. You may pick up 5 here. You may pick up, another 3 here. But you still got to keep running. You got to stay committed to it. And bro, like, if you see your guys can't pass block, you need to find a way to move Tua around. And we had this discussion the other day. Like, sprint out. There's plenty of other protections you can do. You can sprint them out. You can roll them out. You got to be better in getting Tua outside the pocket. You can't just sit him back there and just let him get beat up all game.
When especially, your O-line is compromised. You got to move the launch point at some point.
Like, come on, bro. Like, you just going to really sit back. First of all, your guys aren't built to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Our offensive line operates best when it's a sprint protection, when it's low hat, firing off the ball, heavy on their hands. When did we see that last night? Last night we're just dropping back. Our line is not moving left and right. They're just dropping back and getting teed off on, right? And you got guys in there who struggle pass blocking. Like Liam Eichenberg would much rather be run blocking than pass blocking. That's a strong suit, right? So Mike McDaniels has got to be better, and I think he understands that. And I think it's nut crunching time now. So he's got to look himself in the mirror. Tua's got to look himself in the mirror. The whole offense got to look themselves in the mirror and figure out what they're going to be moving forward. Because right now I feel like we have no identity.
100%.
Like, what do we do well offensively?
What can you hang your hat on? What can you hang your hat on, bro? Like, you know, it's like when you look at the upper tier teams, you look at Dallas, you look at San Francisco, even Baltimore's. You know what I mean?
Physical ass
bro,
teams, bro.
They are, bro.
They're imposing teams. They're physical on both sides of the football.
They getting their hands on people and they looking to inflict, serious harm to you, right?
Yeah.
They're not trying to run around you. They're trying to run through you. And
we don't have that. We just don't have that.
And again, physicality, it's all about it's all about a mentality, bro. And I'm sorry, Mike McDaniel just does not reflect anything physical. And again, no shade at him. I'm a fan of Mike McDaniel.
That's his game, though.
But his personality does not reflect anything remotely close to the term physicality, bro. That's just a fact.
But when Mike McDaniel came in, he said in his presser, like, we're going to be physical. We're going to get after teams. We're going to run the football. And I just haven't seen that here. I haven't seen him focus on setting the standard for what he wants his unit to be. Like, if you want to be a physical football team, you need to call some physical football plays.
100%.
And I just don't see it. I see a lot of running around.
But he don't want that. See, that's what you guys want. See, again, it's picking and choosing. I just been sitting here listening. How quickly we forget. Last week against the Commanders, we ran a 4-minute offense where we didn't throw a fucking pass. They closed out the game. I just think it's a game-by-game basis, and I think, again, yesterday, Mike McDaniel figured, I'm going to put the ball in my MVP's hands. I'm going to put the ball into a Tagovailoa's hands.
This is a question. This is a question. So do you think in these primetime games where he's getting all this attention and he's in these interviews with Monday Night Football representatives, do you think in these games that he is thinking, oh, I want to showcase my quarterback instead of showcasing my football team, winning a football game by being imposing and running the football?
That could be a possibility, CB. But again, when we're talking about we don't have an identity, I think our identity, again, I know with your position, CB, I know EM's position. You want a balanced attack. You want a physical football team that's going to run the ball. No, our identity is a finesse, fast, pass-first football
But it
team.
shouldn't be. But it shouldn't be.
Can you Can you win like that?
Well,
no.
Again, CB, you brought up the point of Mike McDaniel's press conference when he first got hired, right? And he said he wanted to be a physical, run-first football team. Did he have Tyreek in his position on the first day of that press conference?
No, he didn't.
He
built something different. He built something different.
Again, because the team changed.
Yeah.
You went and got a $30 million most explosive, dynamic player in the league. Right?
It
is what it is.
Are we in the business of winning football games, competing and winning at the highest level, or are we into just setting records and looking like looking the part and setting records in a regular season, right? What are we in the business in?
And that's a good question because I
don't care whether you got Tyreek Hill or not. What we know, the blueprint, it's not rocket science, right? The blueprint to win at this league, the currency of the NFL is and will always be balanced. I've been telling y'all that since day one, bro. I don't give a damn because you paying a nigga $30 million. I don't care about none of that.
I know.
The objective is to win, bro.
Even with $20, $30 $20 million, $30 million receivers on the field, you still gotta be able to run the football.
100%.
I think that's every NFL football team understands that.
But they did run the ball. They've been running the ball,
Yeah,
bro.
They didn't run it. They're not running it enough.
they're not
They're not
running.
running it enough.
And this is what I was having this conversation the other day. I think we're running the ball, but I think our run game is very one-dimensional, right? It's a lot of outside stuff, a lot of reverses, a lot of jet sweep, a lot of motions like that, a lot of outside zone, a lot of tosses, stuff like that. You have to be able to switch it up, right? Because if you're not going to run directly at these middle linebackers, right, at these inside guys, they're just going to, when they see run, they're thinking, okay, it's going sideline to sideline. But when they see pass, they're just dropping back into the middle of the field. And what that's going to do is just take away your zones, and it's going to force you to throw the ball to the sideline. And that's what we heard Vrabel say last night. He says, hey, we need to do a better job of forcing them to throw outside.
100%. He said that.
We want to throwing outside the numbers.
And where's the diversity and not just the run game, CB, not to cut you off, but where is the diversity in terms of the passing concepts?
Why can't you start outside and run? Why can't you run a slant? Like, what was the last time we caught a slant on this offense?
So, I mean,
like, bro, Cedric Wilson caught a slant in the end zone. Which game was that? Oakland with the Raiders, Las Vegas game? What game was that? It had to be. I think it was 2 games ago, 3 games ago.
It's just what you see on tape is that, again, every coach philosophically has, an area of the field that they like to target, right? Based off the skill set of the quarterback, based off the skill set of all the skill position players that you have, right? We all know that. But you have to have a counter for when because teams are just not going to line up and just give you what you want. They're going to take away your strengths, the areas of the field that you like to target, and they're going to force you to beat them left-handed. Well, when that happens, and we've seen not just this year, the games that they lost, going back to last year, what we saw yesterday is nothing new. The blueprint is out there. Teams have copy and pasted a lot of what we saw last year when it was on that 5-game losing streak, and they slowed this offensive down significantly. Teams are copy and pasting that, and they're applying that same type of approach this year. But where's the counter from McDaniel? Like last night, the way the game unfolded, the way the presentation that the defense gave Mike McDaniel off his offense to his offense as a whole, right? Based off that presentation, they were screaming, we don't think, you'll get a few runs here and there, but we don't think, right? You as a coach, based off the tendencies that you've put consistently on film in your 2 years as the coach of the Miami Dolphins, we do not believe you're going to be committed enough to run us out of these coverage formations and force us, right, to, bring in heavier packages to drop that safety down in the box, right, which creates more favorable matchups for the offense. They felt like they told him that. And this has been routine with Mike McDaniel when we're not successful, when we've lost. And last night was no exception. And Mike McDaniel, he better alter that. And I don't give a damn about what you pay in this one, what you gave up for that one. The objective is to win. And if the defense is telling you, beat me with the run game, guess what? You got the personnel, you got the running backs. You need to do that. You need to line up and be able to do that. And he's just refused to do it. He refuses to be as committed enough to that when that, when the defense present that to him. He got to change, bro. He has to.
Now, this is a question I have for you guys, right? Why? Like, we know he doesn't get really physical in the running game. Do you think it's because these running backs are finesse running backs? Do you think he's scared to hurt these guys? Raheem
Mostert is not a finesse running back. He's not. Jeff Wilson Jr. is not a finesse running back.
Wilson Jr. didn't even get carries.
I know he's not, bro. He hadn't get any. Bro, he's been on the shelf all year, right? And him and Mostert are too hard.
He about to get a red shirt, bro.
him and Mostert, they run the hard. They're the two running backs, well, along with Chris Brooks too, but he's been hurt.
Yeah.
Bro, they run the hardest. They're more north than at this stage of his career. I think, even though he does still have the speed, but I think Raheem Mostert is far better equipped physically to run north and south as opposed to east and west now. So
Yeah.
I don't understand, why aren't you implementing more power concepts, more run concepts to compromise, to run in between the tackles, bro, as opposed to, trying to win the C gap, 80% of your run plays.
I think so. Mike McDaniel was a run game coordinator. And when you're a run game coordinator, you got to look at it from all perspectives. You got to look at gap scheme plays. You got to look at zone scheme plays and figure out what works best for your guys. Like, there has to be some gap scheme plays, some power, some counter, some stuff like that we can implement into this offense to get 3 and 4 yards on a goal line when we need it. Because even if you got to bring in some heavy packages, which I never see us do, like I never see us bring in a tight end heavy package, a 22
or bringing
personnel,
or bringing that 6 lineman, that elephant package.
Right. Like we never see it, bro. When are you gonna show that you can just line up and push guys and get a couple yards? Like, I think that's the thing about teams like Philly. That's the thing about teams like Buffalo. We can hit on Buffalo all we want. If it's 4th and 1, Josh Allen gonna find a way to get the fucking 1 yard. Like, let's be real. Like, that's something we can't do. We're so worried about our quarterback getting hit, or we're so worried about us not being able to line up in a heavy package and get the line up and get the damn yard. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand it, bro. That's the situation that kills me about this team. Because I know when you get in 4th and 1, you run these low percentage plays like slants and outs and fades, bro. You're not gonna connect on those all the time. Not 9 times out of 10, you're not hitting on those. Those are hard plays to make on 4th and goal, right? You got to be able to line up and just run the ball. Like, that's the easiest way to get there. Straight line.
And what's crazy is that, considering where Mike McDaniel came from, how he made his way in the league, I don't understand why this is such an issue with him. And again, he's like a lot like Lewis. He's too much focused on what you paid to get Tyreek trade-wise and what you're paying him. No, I don't care what nobody put a gun to your head and forced you to make that trade and pay that man $30 million a year. Nobody did that. But at the end of the day, you need to get beyond that. And you need to focus on what is the best application, what's the best format of this offense to consistently compete and win at the highest level. It's not the chosen format of being too Tyreek dependent, focus on getting this man 2,000 yards, throwing the ball over the field 40 times. That is not it. Bro, that's obvious.
Donald Henry says phase to the shortest play on the team is crazy. That is plumb dumb to me, right? You got Claypool sitting on the sideline. You got Chosen Anderson sitting on the sideline, and you're throwing a fade route to Tyreek. How many jump balls have we seen Tyreek go get?
It's crazy, dude.
It's few and far in between. It's not something he does regularly. Let's stop trying to force a square peg in a round hole. Let's either run the ball or throw a slant to a big body receiver like Cedric Wilson or Claypool or one of these other guys. Or just use your speed. Go 5 wide and use your speed and find a hole somewhere and throw it in there. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, bro. Like, you when you throw the ball to the corner pocket of the end zone, do you know how good that throw has to be in order to get there? It has to be damn near perfect. It's ridiculous that you are calling that play in that situation. It's just too hard. It's
and you know something else? And you know something else too? Not just the fades in the end zones, but look at that throw to Waddle that he made. That he almost got Waddle killed last night. Right?
It was a whole shot.
We've seen Tua live and Mike McDaniel live with plays like that all year long, right? But listen, those windows are open in the regular season, but they close once the postseason comes, right? Teams take that away from you. But see, Mike McDaniel, why is he putting his quarterback in a position like that to where, okay, the focus is from a defensive standpoint, the focus is that area of the field because they know based off your tendencies, what you put on tape, we know that you like to target that area of the field.
Yeah.
So they're committing resources to congest and really constrict those windows, shrink those windows. So where is the consistent, right, evolution of the passing concepts? Because they are just focused on that area. They're living there. You're boxing Tua in a corner and making him be perfect. Bro, you cannot live in that world. You can't. And again, he credit to Tua. And I'm not saying Tua don't deserve some blame here in regards to the game yesterday.
He does.
But you got the responsibility of the coach is to help your players out. You're supposed to put them in the most advantageous situations. And I feel like McDaniel there hadn't been going back to last year when we were unsuccessful and follow that up to this year. There hadn't been enough of a counter to really help your quarterback and help your offense as a whole, bro. Because based off the coverages, there just hasn't been. And he's got to get more consistent, especially situationally. Because if he don't, bro, we're going to be home again. We're going to be home yet again. And I ain't even talking about getting a playoff win and getting to the second or the AFC Championship. I'm talking about in the first round.
Yeah.
So the only scenario to help Tua out, then and again, I'm just doing the listening, is only to run the ball because I thought CB brought up 5 minutes ago. Mike Vrabel came out and said after the game, we got to force Tua to make outside throws. We got to force this offense to make. Well, why? And again, I'm not trying to. It's going to come off as hate, right? But I'm just going to pose a question. Can Tua consistently, through a 60-minute ball game, throw those out routes?
I think Tua can.
EM, hold on.
Go ahead.
I'm saying consistent, right? Because the fact of the matter is, we know what this system is, right? It's a timing, rhythm-based offense. And we've seen, even, 2 weeks ago against the Jets, on an out route, if it's not perfect, and Tua just seems to be late, it could be half a second late. That ball's going the other way.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
Tua don't have that. Those are the benefits of a guy like a Josh Allen or a Herbert that even maybe if they're late, they have the arm strength to get it out there. So when I hear that this team is living in the middle of the field, it's maybe because Mike McDaniel also knows that there is a limitation of trying to maybe throw out routes consistently on a consistent basis. Not saying that Tua can't do it, not saying that he hasn't done it, but again, if that's what the defense was dictating to them yesterday, right?
Why
do you think they're not calling plays like that?
Let me hang on. Let me jump here real quick, CB. So, we know Tua. I don't think Tua. I think Tua personally can make every throw that there is that is a requirement of an NFL level quarterback, right?
I believe that as well. Yep.
But yeah, we know he's not in terms of arm strength. He's not in the Josh Allen category, the Patrick Mahomes category, Justin Herbert's, etc. Right? We know that. So let's just say, for arguments, I'll concede that no, Tua cannot consistently throw outside the numbers to influence the coverage. Defensive coordinators to kind of roll the coverage and play to play outside the numbers as opposed to being so congested at the second and intermediate level of the field. I'll concede that. Well, how do you counter that if you're a play caller? Well, you run it's a simple formula. You run the football more because if you're consistently now, to like your point of consistently throwing outside the numbers, well, if you're consistently committed to running the football, and again, it's not about talent. It's not about they're the most productive run game in the league next to San Francisco. I mean, they might be neck and neck. So to influence, right, to get a defense, to move up closer to the line of scrimmage, which, opens those windows at the area of the field that you love to target, you got to run the football and play action off that. And again, why aren't you not doing that? That's how you influence. Joe Montana didn't have the biggest arm Tom Brady didn't have the biggest arm.
But they had
Drew Brees didn't have the
had
biggest arm.
but
But
they
did
had
you
run
see in it?
games though. They had
Exactly.
run
Did you
games,
see?
bro.
I keep telling Lewis this, but it's like it's falling on deaf ears.
But see,
Did you ever see them compromise the run game in terms of the commitment and personnel,
again,
etc.?
but real
and
quick,
again, but every time y'all bring that scenario up and you bring up a guy like Joe Montana, bro, Joe Montana played in the 80s. It was just
Tom
a different
Brady.
time.
It
Tom
don't matter,
Brady.
bro.
Tom
Bro,
Brady
Brady
just
played in the
played.
80s too.
Again, Brady played when Brady won his first couple Super Bowls, right? In the early 2000s. It was still a league of power run game. Look at the running backs.
And the league today is not. And the league today is not.
It's not. No, bro.
I think
Name me the Super Bowl winner that has won throwing the fucking football all over the field, Lewis. We don't have this conversation. I don't know how many times, bro.
Not Kansas City. Not Kansas City.
Name the team. And Kansas City morphed into that power running game. In that same high flying Kansas City team, they morphed into that power running team last year.
Yeah, because they know. Look, they know it's not sustainable. Throwing around like that is just not sustainable. And I feel
I'm
like,
not saying throw it around like that. But you guys are making it seem like, oh, run the ball 40, 45 times. Name me
absolutely
does that.
But look,
you know who did that? You know, hang on. You know who did that? You know who did that? Bill Belichick, who had the greatest quarterback we've ever had, right? We've seen over the years in the playoffs or the regular season. If the defense dictated you running the ball 40 times, guess what? Yes. He ran the ball 40 times and Tom Brady threw it 10. We've seen that.
Yes, right. In the early 2000s. But
that was in 2001. That was in 2017.
All right, real quick. Let's regroup. Hold up. Let's regroup real quick.
No. Hold on, CB. Because when that New England offense really took off, right, you could say what you want. It was the passing game with Rob Gronkowski. It was the passing game with Aaron Hernandez.
But you know why that was working though? But Lou,
why was it working?
Do you know?
And it was all predicated off the run game, bro.
It was all predicated off play action, right? It was all predicated off play action pass. And that's what we aren't doing a good job of. We're not selling the play action well. And we're not if we're running the football well and we're selling the play action, guys are going to be open in the zones because they're playing zone defense on us. They're not playing man-to-man, right? So you got to step guys. You got to force these linebackers to come up a little bit. You just do, right? And if you don't, they're going to be sitting back there chilling.
I don't understand.
Let me finish it. And
go
even when you drop back to pass the ball, there needs to be some layers to your passing game. There needs to be some short, middle, deep options, right? And I don't see enough of that. I just see everybody running deep, and there's 2 or 3 guys down the field running. Nobody's open. Sometimes you got to have somebody coming across the field on a mesh route. Sometimes you got to sit a running back down in the middle of the field because the linebackers are dropping way back. I just don't see enough of creativity from Mike McDaniel in his passing game, right? There needs to be some screens sometimes, some running backs.
So
the screens ain't working, bro. We threw 9 passes to A-Chain. One of them was downfield.
But we're not talking. I'm not talking about look. But I'm not talking about throwing it to the flats, bro. I'm talking about like screens, like actually showing pass, right? Showing a pass and then running a screen with the running back out of the backfield. Like
we just don't do that. But the fact of the matter is, again, we only do this in losses. And I hate when we do this. I just sent EM.
I don't.
I don't. I know you don't. No, I know you don't. And I'll send you the same clip, CB. If you want, you can throw it up on the channel.
Send me the clip.
There was a clip yesterday in the fourth quarter on one of those drives that got stalled by Tua in this offense, right? That we always complain. Well, McDaniel this and McDaniel. Cedric Wilson on I believe it's a 3-step drop with Tua. Back foot hits. Tua looking right at Cedric Wilson. It's about a 5-6 yard in-breaking route right at the sticks. A chain mover, right? Tua's looking right at it. Tua don't on the 3-step drop, right? Which again ain't this offense timing and rhythm. That's what it's based on, right? Mm-hmm. The West Coast system. Tua looking right at it. He don't deliver the football. He takes a sack. People want me to believe though that that's an offensive line problem. People want me to believe that's a Mike McDaniel problem
Hey,
when the film is showing you
Lewis,
otherwise.
if Tua if Tua is gun shy, why are we putting the ball in his hands more? This is your argument. Come on, bro. Let's have a real conversation. Because I've always said, I've always said Tua is not going to be the guy to throw you to a win. He's just not that dude, right? He's not the dude you want to put the ball in his hands for 40 times and say, hey, go out there and win us the game. He's not that type of guy. He's a balanced guy, run the football, work the play action, and you'll figure out. If he needs to make a play late in the game, give him the ball and put it in his hands.
You know who? But CB, who really is though?
There's not a lot of guys who can do that. There's not a lot of guys.
And again,
I have seen Aaron Rodgers do it. I've seen certain guys do it at times, but there's not a lot of guys who can go out there and throw it.
Who has won at the? And again, I'm still trying to.
I'm just saying, like, winning regular season football.
Well, I'm always coming from the perspective of winning a Super Bowl. I don't give a fuck about the part of my language. I don't care about the regular season.
But during the regular season,
is this Madden or what? Are we talking about Madden numbers or what? What's the objective here?
Of course, it's Super Bowl.
Okay, then. So name me the guy.
We were just having a conversation though to feed Tyreek so he can get 2,000 yards though, right? Weren't we?
No. Who was saying that?
Who was having a conversation?
Hey, you see how Lou deflecting? Lou, why you deflecting, bro?
CB.
You just said, bro. You just said he's gun shy. Why we giving him? Why we want him to throw the ball 40 times and the dude's gun shy?
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up.
Let's be real, bro.
And again, let's be real. I'm glad you brought that up because me and Ian were on the phone just before we got on this panel.
And what y'all was talking about?
I'm gonna bring it up right now.
Go ahead.
Right now. Perfect. This is a perfect segue, CB.
We only got just to warn you, we got about 10 minutes before Hard Knocks. So we got all right.
You can catch the delay. But go ahead.
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this, CB. If Tua's not the guy, right, that we can again lean on, right? Or use your words. Oh, he's not a 35, 40 time a game. He's not a leader. But why are we talking about?
I didn't say he's not a leader. Why you threw that shit?
I didn't say leader. I said we can't lean on him to throw us to victories and stuff. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, you don't lean
on
him.
Why are we having these conversations of paying that man $55-60 million? Because I know I got a son that just turned 18 years old. I can put him in the league. You can give him way less, and he can hand off the ball,
bro.
Bro, don't feed me this.
Look, Lou. I get what you're saying. Look, that's the nature.
No.
Hold up, Ian. This is the nature. This is the nature of the position right now. Herbert has done nothing in the league to show that. Oh, you could put the ball in his hands late. Joe Burrow's done a little bit of it.
What one guy does that?
There's not a lot.
There is nobody. It's maybe one, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Maybe.
And even he struggles at times.
Seen that. Bro, is this? Are we talking Madden? Or are we talking about real life? Which one is it?
He's struggling. He's struggling. Patrick Mahomes. CB just said Patrick Mahomes is struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling.
The man, really? So when he's putting the ball right in the receiver's hands and they're dropping them, he's struggling.
But that's him struggling. He is struggling. I'm just saying overall this year he's struggling, bro.
No, he's not playing. He's not struggling.
No, I'm not putting that all on his receivers. I think that's the nature of where they are offensively right now.
They go hand in hand. I mean, he can't get numbers if his receivers aren't making plays, bro.
They go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. Man, but my thing, I don't know why Lewis, as well as others, they want 100% of the offense to run through the quarterback, bro.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
I'm not saying that. See again. Why do we have to do that? Why do we have to go to the extreme?
Well, and we're not. Look.
Not one time on this panel did I say it has to go 100% into it. But I'm not sitting here telling people, oh, we got to run the ball 40, 45 times because we can't put the ball into his hands.
If the game dictate, the game, why you think your man Brian Flores, right? Not only him, but every coach talks about when they're talking about game planning and preparation, it's a week to week matchup based approach. You ever heard a coach say that? Have you ever heard a
Yeah.
coach say that?
I'm glad you brought that up. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying this bullshit narrative that you and CB are trying to push is cap. Because last week when we played the Commanders, we ran the ball in a 4-minute drill all the time. We didn't pass the ball once. That was in that game. Now, in last night's game, Coach McDaniel, I don't give a fuck about what EM's trying to tell me. I don't give a shit what CB or even myself, I'll include it. We don't matter. Last night, McDaniel felt the right thing to do was put the ball into his hands. And again, I didn't want to be this guy, but I'll be the guy.
And he clearly was wrong.
It was a
And he
mistake.
clearly was wrong.
Tua didn't show up. It's not that it was wrong. He didn't show up.
I don't know. I don't know because I think the play calling has a lot to do with how your guys show up. Like if you're running the ball a little bit more, when you go to pass it, there's going to be more open. There's going to be more opportunity, right? But you weren't running the ball. You kind of got away from it. So if you're just sitting back and the guys realize, hey, they're passing the ball, they're going to tee off.
You're playing right into their fucking hands, bro.
Right
like I can't even believe this is even a topic of conversation.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. But look, EM, I get it because guys do feel like these guys are making a lot of money. They should be able to throw the team to a win. I mean, all the topic of conversation today, I'm sure on ESPN and national media was Tua couldn't get it done. Right?
And again, listen,
it's casual, but I get it.
Well, but it's not casual.
Shit.
It's
shit.
not casual.
I'm saying that.
So you say Lewis? So you say Lewis a cat?
Dirty.
Shit.
Hey, it's a dirty game out here. Lou, I'm not saying you're a casual, Lou. I'm saying
I know you're not.
The
Ian's trying to cause problems. But let me again for the casuals that are on this panel and for the casuals we have in the chat, let me ask you a question. Week 1 of this year against the Los Angeles Chargers, was the running game cooking in that game?
No, not really. It's week 1. It's week 1 too.
And what happened?
Tua had to throw the ball.
And when McDaniel put the ball in Tua's hands,
right?
What did Tua do? He delivered, right?
He stepped up, right?
Yeah.
He stepped up. And yesterday, in that same position, he did not.
With a different situation. Connor Williams out. Tyreek Hill hurts.
Didn't Armstead play in that game too? Didn't Teron Armstead play in that game too?
Yes, he did. He played.
Is Jalen Waddle not a number 1 receiver?
Different situations call for different implementation. Come on, Lou. We know this.
And again, that's cool. Is Jalen Waddle a number 1 receiver? Yes or no? I just need to know.
No, he's not a number 1 receiver. Not on this team.
He hadn't played like it consistently this year, but I think
does he have number 1?
He has the ability, but he's not on this team. He's not though.
So again, forget about this team. I'm just saying the ability is there. We would all consider Jalen Waddle to be again on this team. Let's say he's not a 1A, but he's a 1B, right? He's still a number 1 receiver, right?
He's a good receiver.
He's a guy, right? Is he not a guy?
He's a guy.
So don't tell me that about what Tyreek Hill is.
But that's the thing, Lou, and Lou, that's the thing, and that's why I like the thought of Tyreek Hill kind of being out right now or being a little banged up. Mike McDaniel's gonna have to find a way to get other guys involved in this offense. It's gonna call for him to get creative and get some of these receivers off the sideline and into the game.
Up? Cap, hey, don't be a.
Well,
hey, let Cap
it is
up,
casual
man.
hour. It is casual hour, so you can go ahead and let him up. You got Lewis up here, so it's casual hour. So yeah, you can drop that link. Go ahead.
Oh man, y'all want the fans tailgate? Y'all want the fans tailgate?
Hey! It's a tag team match. Let's get this tag team match popping.
Yeah.
Hey, send Cap the link, Lou. Send him the link. You got it. Send it to him.
It is definitely casual hour for sure.
Hey, boy. Hey, I know, man. Hey, it's gonna get ugly up here for these boys. You already know what time it is, EM.
No. The fact of the matter is, me and CB were having a great conversation, and then the production of the show went down as soon as
I hear you.
I
hear you.
Why you doing like that? He's supposed to be your boy, man.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But
That's
at the
my
end of the
man.
day,
That's my man.
I know.
hey, at the end of the day, again, bro, listen, Tua deserved a lot, some criticism for yesterday.
Yeah,
Absolutely. He plays
absolutely.
mediocre. He did not
Absolutely.
play nowhere near, right? There were misreads. But again, when you see, you're the coach, right? One of the biggest responsibilities is to have the pulse of your team. When your quarterback don't have it, or when you compromise. Guys are
Yeah.
dropping like
You
flies.
you should
When you're
be.
compromised personnel wise, why are you playing into the defenses? Know your weaknesses from personnel, right? They look at Tua, they looking right into his eyes, and they know he might, whether he has it or not, right? And if you're the coach, why are you? Your job is to make things easier for your players, not just your quarterback. But and they were screaming. Mike Vrabel was screaming at Mike McDaniel, beat me with your run game. I double dare you.
Because you're gonna
And
have
this
to.
man, and again, so what if?
So what if
So
it's
what
not
if you?
Q? So what if it's not
I
Q?
know, bro. Like again, that's a very no.
Sometimes you gotta get ugly
That's why I
wins.
asked, are we talking about Madden? Or are we talking about real life shit, bro? Who gives a fuck what it looks like?
But see, that's my thing too about this running back position, EM. And I know y'all talk about Mostert and y'all talk about A-Chain, but them dudes don't put fear in no middle linebacker, no inside linebackers. They don't put fear in no DBs. They're easily tackled. And I know they got some speed, right? If anything, you're worried about them running past you, but you're not worried about them beating you up for 4 quarters. That's not something you're worried about. That's why if you have a guy like Jonathan Taylor in this offense, you're looking at a totally different dynamic in terms of running the football, right?
No, that's why I push back. I think they're fine. If you commit,
it's
if
not
there's
it.
more,
They're not
if there's more of a commitment to it, the reason why teams don't fear them is because they know you're not committed to it. They know you're not lining up right.
Hey, tell
25,
Cap real quick.
30 times.
Ian, hey Cap, I check your text message. I just sent you the link, Cap.
He sent you the link, Cap.
I sent it to you, Cap.
Go ahead and get up here so you can get punished, boy.
So it's not just the player. What defenses fear, the individual player. Because I think you can poll every player, right? Every linebacker in the league. There ain't a soul on anybody's team that they fear, right?
Oh no,
they're big, strong, they fast too.
Christian McCaffrey. Hey, tell me, linebackers don't fear Christian McCaffrey.
Hang on. Hey, can I finish? Let me finish.
Stop
it. Can I please finish? It's not just one guy, right? It's not, bro. It's the commitment to the run game over the 60-minute ball game is what they fear because they're going to get tired. They're going to get wore down. They're tired of taking that pounding consistently over 60 minutes. It's not, they don't fear a guy that's just going to be committed to the run game for 1 quarter. It's the duration of the application, not just a part of it.
That's part
is
of
what
it
they
too.
fear.
That's part of it too. But you also got to kind of set the tone in your offensive line room, right? And your offensive line room has got to be on board about being physical and being imposing on defenses. And if you got a finesse group and you just start trying to pound it up in the middle, it's not gonna. It typically doesn't work well for you, especially when you got guys, a bunch of backups in the game. It's tough.
Who was a backup? You said a bunch of. What you talking about? A bunch of backups? Who you? You talking about the O-line?
O-line.
Okay. I thought you were saying that our running backs are backup quality. My bad.
No. Our offensive line was backup quality last night, and that's
for sure.
And that's the type of situation you put yourself in when you shuffling. You become one-dimensional. Now you got to focus on passing the ball because you feel like you can't run the ball. So it's give and take. It's a lot of context. It's a lot of nuance. So that's something that Mike McDaniel is gonna have to figure out. I think this team needs to become more physical in the next 3 to 4 weeks before we enter the playoffs. And if we don't, it's going to be an early exit. If we do, there's potential there to get a Super Bowl run. But if you're going to continue to be finesse and run outside and try to hide from everybody and not get hit, then bro, it's not going to bode well for you. It's just the nature of the game. It's the nature of the NFL right now.
Hey, CB, he said he's not getting it through when I'm sending it through text message. Send it to his Twitter.
They
him real quick.
StreamYard ain't letting no casuals up. I don't know how Lewis got through the. I don't know how he got up here. They ain't letting casuals up right now.
No. You just don't want him up because he's gonna body your motherfucking ass.
Yeah. When does that ever happen?
Y'all boys, wow, man. Let me see if I can send this real quick.
Send it to him on his Twitter. For some reason,
what is it? What's his Twitter? Is the Fans Tailgate?
I don't know. Your links the other day was acting funny, CB.
Oh, I sent the wrong link. That's why.
Mm.
I'm gonna send it to him right now. Tell him don't be scared.
He gonna pull up. Yeah, he gonna pull up. Cap, it's on the Twitter now. He said he sent it to you. He probably lying though. He probably lying, Cap.
I sent it. Hey, if you scared, you scared, bro. I don't know.
He probably gatekeeping up here. That's probably what it is.
Hey.
Oh shit.
Them boys funny.
Oh shit! Gatekeeping. Oh shit!
Hey, there you go.
Okay, I was getting a little worried there.
Hey, thought he was running. Thought he was running.
Getting a little worried there, Cap.
Boy, that's all I know. You're out here clapping them booty cheeks out here.
Hey, he said you're clapping booty cheeks.
Oh shit!
Listen to this.
Finally have a productive conversation now. We can finally get into something.
I hear you.
I had to bring some real reasoning to all this nonsense because all I'm hearing is excuses and excuses and excuses. The O-line. I'm so sick of talking about the O-line. I get it. We had a makeshift O-line. It wasn't like we were going against San Francisco. Y'all are acting like the Titans are San Francisco. They just gobble us up. No, bro. This was the Titans. What are we talking about? The offense did nothing. All they needed to do was something one time in this game for it to not be what we had. The defense had to do everything. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing people blaming the defense as if the defense not only needed to score points, but needed to do everything the entire game because that's the way football is played in all three phases. This is nonsense. I'm tired of hearing it. Cap,
come on. Cap, we didn't talk about Tua not performing, right? We talked about
who's making excuses,
offensive line. We've talked about the offense all show not being good enough, the play calling, all of that. I get it. I know you guys want to come up here and say the offense is to blame. Come on, man.
Cap. They said we can't. We got to run the ball 45
So what? How do you feel, Cap? How do you feel? How do you feel about that?
We can't put the ball into his hands, Cap. According to
no, nobody said that. Nobody said it. Tua just clearly didn't have it yesterday, right? So let me ask y'all this, right? Let's kind of go back to week 1, right? When clearly the defense did not have it. Clearly they didn't have it, right? As soon as they got off the bus, they conceded 30 to the Chargers. But what happened? The offense had to pick up the slack, right? The offense had to overcompensate for what they were not getting on their support, what they were not getting on the defensive side of the football. So why y'all didn't have a problem with that then, right? So why is it now that the offense clearly did not have it? Mike McDaniel, Tua included, the O-line, patchwork offensive line, compromised personnel-wise on the O-line. Clearly they didn't have it offensively. So why is it a problem that, okay, the defense was in a prime position to pick up the slack and contribute greatly to a win and help propel us to a win? Why do y'all have a problem with it now?
That's a great question.
You talking about the defense?
That's a great question.
What are you talking about?
Listen, can I not count on my 4th-year potential quarterback to just show and shine one time, bro?
Tua hadn't signed it all this year? The game I just referenced.
Guess what? It's great shining when everything's going well. When the chips are down and I need a leader on my team and I want to win a Super Bowl, it has to be the quarterback. It can't be Tyreek Hill. It can't be the run game. It has to be the quarterback at some friggin' point. At some point, it has to be him.
The Super Bowl was yesterday? The Super
No,
Bowl,
but
that was the Super
but I'll
Bowl?
tell you what, if the Super Bowl was today, I don't think we're winning. Not with that type of performance. Not if I can't count on my quarterback to do what I saw Will Levis do in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes. God damn it.
Oh,
Bro,
Ooh. Ooh.
well,
Now,
is that on the defensive coordinator, or how was that a Tua issue? That man was
On the
out there making
defense, listen,
plays.
I saw Will Levis get shed a sack over his head. He got his head twisted up and still stepped up and delivered a strike. That's the type of play I need to see from Tua every now and again.
Have you seen
in
Will
a
Levis do
game.
that all year? Have you seen
I
him do
don't
that?
care.
Have you seen that record?
How much Titans football am I watching right now?
Have you
Zero.
seen again? Y'all are taking one freaking game, right? One game, and automatically you letting that completely influence the your evaluation of Tua as a whole this year, which is a very casual-like fucking position to take.
And honestly,
You're trying to put it on there. I'm saying that we had an opportunity yesterday to destroy narratives about our team, about our quarterback, about
Who's
prime
debating
time,
that, Cap?
about
Who's
all this
debating that?
nonsense.
Who's debating that?
now, I do think this. Now, I think it's kind of easy for us to play this, Tuesday night quarterback, right? Tuesday night coach, and look at the one game Tua's kind of played poorly, like really poorly. I thought he played a poor game yesterday. He had some moments in it where he made some good throws, but it's a poor game. I mean, you expect him to step up and make plays late in the game. That's what you want to see from a quarterback who's an MVP candidate and all of this, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? So clearly there's an opportunity there. He didn't perform. How many games has Tua cost us, or bad games has he had this year? I don't think he's had many. And I think we got to understand. And I
wouldn't even say that was his worst game.
Right. And I won't say that either. But I'm saying coming into the season, I said, hey, Tua's going to have the opportunity for me to have 2 to 3 bad games. And I think that's realistic. I think the Tom Brady's, all of these guys have had games where they threw interceptions, cost their team games, and it can't, even if it came down to 1 or 2 plays, they didn't elevate their play to get them. I think that's part of being a quarterback in the NFL. You take your lumps in regards to that. So I gave him 2 to 3 games coming in. I think he's probably had maybe 1.5 to 2 games where he hasn't played well.
I would agree with that, and I wouldn't say that this was his worst showing ever. The gripe, the mishap, is the frustration when in a game against an opponent that's not that great. Let's call it for what it is.
It's still an NFL team, though. I get what you're saying.
I expect so much more out of Tua, even if Waddle wasn't in there and Tyreek wasn't in there. With the run game happening, I want to see Tua be the guy in that instance against the team. Will his team back?
We all do. We all do.
We all do. I think we all do. But I think we also have to go back, and we have to take ourselves back to the first couple years that Tua was playing quarterback. And when there was an offensive line that wasn't consistent and that was constantly getting pressure, we saw this same player, right? We saw the same guy who couldn't be consistent.
That worries me, CB.
Bro,
that worries me.
Honestly,
that worries me as a team, as a franchise. If things aren't perfect on the O-line, I don't get a quarterback that can help. There's a give and take with elevating things, and no one stands a better chance to elevate the people around them than the quarterback himself with a poor line and with poor weapons. Yeah. If Tua needs things to be great so he can be great, we're in deep trouble because that's not the way the cap or anything in the world works.
But listen to this real quick. Now, Cap, you say that's not the way the world works. I get it, right? Everything's not going to be perfect. But damn it, you needed to be at least 60, 70, 80% correct in order to operate like you usually operate. And for Connor Williams to go out, for you already to have Robert Hunt, Isaiah Wynn, and Teron Armstead out, I think that's a bit much. I think that's a lot going wrong, right? And I think when you got Tyreek Hill out of the game, that's more of a lot going wrong. Even in games like Philly, even in games like Kansas City, and games like the Buffalo Bills early in the season where we had guys out, I mean, we just didn't play well. And when you have guys out of this offense, we don't play well. It is concerning. It's concerning, but it's legit.
Here's the thing, though, CB, right? Cap, Lewis. Oh, what Cap said was 100% correct, right? But the issue is we saw when early on in the season when Josh Allen went through his struggles, right? Due to personnel issues, due to play call. Hell, they fired their goddamn offensive coordinator. Bro, in the middle of the
We
season.
fired everybody for Tua.
Everybody.
Don't forget that.
Everybody,
got fired
right?
for Tua. Everybody's been
Everybody,
fired for
right?
Tua. Offense,
So-
defense, the entirety of the staff outside of the GM has been fired for Tua.
No, I think not everybody was fired because of Tua. I think Brian Flores was fired because
Hang on, let me finish.
Defensive coordinator, the entirety of
Hang
who's
on.
calling the shots, coaching staff and alike was all.
That's what
changed
happens when
for
you
Tua.
fire a head coach.
I'm not saying it wasn't the right move, but don't say that I need that. Look at an offensive coordinator and Josh Allen, who has proven that he's a. I mean, listen, I don't want to.
What has he proven? What has he proven?
What
did he prove?
He wins the division and he got his team to the playoffs. I'm not saying that that's my bar. I'm not trying to measure my quarterback to Josh Allen because let's call it for what it is. They are two completely spectrums. They play
skill set, absolutely, but I'm not concerned about.
They're completely different.
Absolutely, but the point is, I'm talking about impact on the field. I don't give a fuck how you impact the game. Every quarterback is different. They impact the game in different ways. But as long as your impact is enough for your team, you're productive enough, and in situations where you can propel your team to more wins and losses, right? But at the end of the day, I didn't hear nobody, right, criticizing Killen and all of a sudden want to abandon Josh Allen when he encountered his struggles due to what? Compromised O-line, compromise in terms of play calling, compromise, players hurt, his skill position players in and out of the lineup. I didn't hear no excuse. I didn't hear not one person say I'm willing to move off of him like the way y'all act towards Tua.
Nobody
make it make sense here.
Who said move off?
Y'all acting like it. You saying it without saying it. You're saying it without saying it.
You're acting like it.
You're saying it without saying it.
No. See,
now you're in here interjecting your thoughts and your fears on the masses.
So
Relax.
so
we
Lewis
can criticize your boo, and he can grow and be better.
Oh, here we go. My boo. My boo.
How much criticism your boo took the first
so
couple
Lou,
of
didn't
years
you say
and
you
look
don't think
how
he can
good
get it
he
done?
is.
Hey, Lou, didn't you say you could? Didn't we just have that private conversation before we came up on this panel? What came out of your mouth? Your words, not mine. You said he cannot get it done. Did you not say that?
What?
No. See, wrong.
What?
Wrong.
You didn't say that?
There he is. There he goes lying again, Lou. There he goes lying again.
Hold on.
You didn't say that?
Hold on.
You notice
Hey,
when I body
EM
he chases after
hey.
Lou. You notice that? I see
EM,
that.
No.
throwing out private conversations.
Hey, he had just said, right? He had just stated.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
Hold on. But Lou, before you go, I just want to bring context to the chat, to the stream. EM just said in a private conversation that Lou said that Tua
Didn't you just reveal a private conversation we had earlier? Didn't you just reveal a private conversation we had earlier? Did you not just do the same thing? It's okay for you to do it, but I can't. All right, but go ahead.
First of all, I didn't say that. You lying. What I said was, and I don't know how many times I got to say the same goddamn thing on everywhere I go. I believe in Tua. I think Tua is the guy. What I said was, though, again, when the pressure is on him, when that light is on him,
that rubber meets the road, huh?
When rubber meets the road, more than. Again, we can call out a few games. I highlighted Baltimore last year. I'll even give them Buffalo week 3 in Miami. Last year, the Charger game this year, we've seen him do it. That's what grows the frustration with Tua. The fact of the matter is, more times than not, when the lights are the brightest, yesterday, we all know what's on the line. First of all, it's Monday Night Football. All eyes on this game, right? You're playing for the number 1 seed. You are no longer the hunter, right? You are the huntee. Teams are coming into your building no matter, again, whenever the Dolphins play, teams are looking to give you the best shot. More than I would like it, right? And again, I'm not trying to shit on Tua. He falls short in those moments. You can get in your feelings if you like it or whatever. The people in the chat, if you don't like it, that's cool. I'm not.
Who is you? Who is you?
I'm talking about you, goddammit.
No.
If the shoe fits, wear it. Tua falls short.
Okay.
More than
a
handful of times. Tua has had an opportunity. Didn't you just hear Cat Cap said you need again, chips are all in, right?
Okay. Well,
Yikes.
Bro, he fell flat on his face
okay.
yet again, in an opportunity to kill narrative. Again, people don't
Okay.
like what they're hearing and coming out of my mouth, right? But you know who
No.
could have changed that, EM? Oh, yeah, I know you don't like it. But you know who could have changed that narrative? Tua Tagovailoa last night.
It's true.
And what
Okay.
did he do?
Well,
Nothing.
well,
And
well,
that's why we're having that conversation today.
well, first and foremost, I'm not in
We
my
shouldn't
feelings
be
about that.
talking this.
Hang on. First and foremost, I'm not in my feelings about that narrative. Fuck, I'm the one that
yeah,
put that
you are.
into the goddamn community 2020. I didn't start just talking about this shit this year. Go back, the receipts are out there. Go pull the tape up, right? So I'm the one that introduced that narrative into the community about Tua. And again, when I was on that island back then, right, by myself, again, I'm the one that introduced that, and I co-sign that. I agree with that 100%. There are time. I do agree. Yesterday was a time for Tua to really start to put a lot of these, that last box he has to check, put a lot of these narratives to bed. He did not. He was not the best version of himself. He needs to be criticized for it. But in terms of, I feel like, again, it's my opinion, haters like Cap, haters like Lewis, haters like
Now I'm a
a
hater.
lot of
Now I'm
people
a hater.
in the community.
Hey,
The haters in the community. Can I finish? May I please finish? Hey, yeah, they wolf packing. So I feel like y'all sit back and wait and let one bad game happen. And again, Tua wasn't terrible last. We've seen him play a lot worse.
One game.
He wasn't terrible
That
last
was
night.
me that said it wasn't his worst game, but continue with your
Hey,
knowledge.
they've been waiting
So
for this,
y'all
Ian?
sit up here. So y'all sit up here and y'all use one bad game or perceived bad game as justification to indirectly put out in the universe that the Dolphins need to move a different direction. Because what did you just say, Cap? Well, if we can't build the perfect team around him, we're gonna have a major issue. Well, what does that tell you?
That's a major issue because you know what
Perfection don't exist at the NFL level.
The entirety of the playoffs and the Super Bowl
Perfection
is the
don't
biggest of the
exist at the NFL level. So what are you saying? If we can't achieve perfection in terms of talent around him, well then you ain't got no other option but to move off of him because you don't believe in him.
See, now your insecurity is
He's
showing.
preaching.
No, I'm going off what I'm using your words, not mine. I'm using your words, not mine.
You know what?
preaching.
Tua took a lot of criticism the first couple of years, and look how much better he's gotten from it. He can take criticism again. He's got to be honest. That was not a game in which he showed that he could elevate his team when they needed him. And that I'm going to lay at his feet, and it's going to continue to be the question until I see it. When Tyreek ain't in there and somebody else ain't in there, and he comes back and wins it for us himself, like I've seen other quarterbacks do. I've seen other Miami Dolphins quarterbacks do it. And I'm not saying he didn't do it in that Ravens game, but this is important. Everybody knows how important this game was. And that opportunity was handed over on a silver platter for Tua to shine, and he didn't. And now I got to deal with this.
Hey, can I kill that narrative? Can I kill this?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You can try, but go ahead.
Damn, wolf packing.
No.
He said y'all wolf packing.
You know what?
Oh yeah, they packing a night. Packing a night. Goddamn it! You already know.
Hey, I heard.
I heard packing your ass up, dog.
Bro, I heard Pete came out to play.
Oh yeah, they was in that space.
You knew that.
They was in that space celebrating, popping bottles and shit. They was popping bottles and shit. Yeah. They was in that space. Hell yeah.
You see how when I say I want to come out and kill the narrative, we start talking about other things, right?
No, go ahead. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay.
Now Lou would have had serious dialogue. Go ahead, Lou.
Hey, CB. Now watch this. In a private phone call with a certain individual,
oh my God!
Right?
Oh! I thought we don't do that. I thought we didn't he just say we don't do that?
Nasty
didn't he say I was a hoe for that? Right? But it's okay for him to do it. All right, okay.
Work.
Hey, now watch this, right? See, games like Kansas City, games like Philadelphia, games like Buffalo, and games like yesterday, right? In 2020 and 2021, that's a good game for Tua. I'm not even sitting here and complaining, right? Me and a certain individual have had these conversations.
Who was
Now
that
it's
certain
not
individual?
well, again, hey, a so-called legend,
Put
supposedly.
a name on it.
They on your neck in the chat, Cap. Hey, real quick, Lou. They on you and they on your neck in the chat, Cap.
Oh yeah,
But
why?
go ahead,
'Cause
Lou.
H
Go ahead.
said one thing. Cap, get out of here, bro. First of all, ain't nothing
can I
casual
finish?
about
Go
me
ahead,
other
go
than
ahead,
the
Lou.
sex,
Go ahead,
baby.
Lou,
Let's
and
go.
let Lou, because I want to hear Lou talk about this private conversations that he
Now,
had.
in 2020, 2021, those 4 games that I highlighted in those 4 losses, right, where we can say, well, 2 of them played
Oh
bad. I would
shit!
agree.
Highlight that last comment real quick, CB. I'm sorry, Lou. Go ahead. Go ahead. Put that last by H in the comment. Highlight that real quick. But go ahead, Lou. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is,
Oh shit!
Damn. He put Lewis on pause for a sec. Damn.
right. No, the fact of the matter is, see, people like that, and shout out to H. I ain't got no problem with H, right? Everybody has their opinion. But this is where we got to start realizing where this football team is, right? Because the way people talk about it, oh, 1 game, bro, I'm highlighting 4 games. The fact of the matter is, in the 4 losses we have this season, if those games came in 2020 or 2021, that's fine. I would be right here with EM saying it's a good game and stuff. But what EM ain't telling you, right, is that now the expectations for not only this football team, but Tua Tagovailoa had changed. And it wasn't because anything EM has been saying for the last 3 to 4 years. And the same thing with UCB, same thing with you, Cap, same thing for myself. Tua has put himself with the work he's done in the MVP conversation last year and this year. So when I look at a game like yesterday, that's not an MVP performance, and those are the performances we need. We need, again, in 2020, 21, I ain't got no problem with the 4 losses. I ain't got no problem in the way Tua has played in those 4 losses. But in 2022 and now 2023, it's unacceptable because the aspirations have changed. It's Super Bowl contenders, right? We're fighting for number 1. We're fighting for number 1 seeds. You can't have our franchise guy that we are starting the initial conversations of giving a long-term deal and we're paying $55 to $60 million. That's not the performances you need. Like, how hard is it for people to understand that?
Look.
So whoever tried to rebut that, Lou? Who was debating that with you?
I don't think anybody
I'm just
debated
saying,
that.
because you're sitting here saying that me and Cap are saying get him out the building. No, we're not. I don't know how many times again I got to say Tua's the guy. Tua should be get here moving forward. But the fact of the matter is, you can't have it both ways. You can't tell me that he's him. You can't highlight all these great throws and type-of throws and the no-look throws. But then in the moments when you need him,
I would
don't
agree
give
with
a
that.
shit if the offensive line ain't blocking. I don't give a shit if McDaniel says, you know what, screw the running game. I'm putting the ball in my MVP's hands, and then you don't deliver. I don't want to hear this bullshit narratives anymore.
Listen to what he just said.
Pack
Hang on.
him
All
up.
right.
Pack
Listen
him
to what
up,
he just
Lou.
said.
Pack him up, Lou.
Listen to what he said. He don't give a damn if the O-line is not blocking.
That don't make sense to me.
Leave that right there. He just said he don't give a damn if the O-line is not fucking blocking.
Like
wow.
Well, again, you see how you want to be
Lou,
literal.
Wow.
But Lou, you can't perform
EM
though.
knows what he's doing.
No,
again, CB,
but look,
but Lou,
I get what you're saying.
You're
Lou,
exaggerating, EM. Quit what you're
But
exaggerating.
EM
That's
is
not what he's saying.
exaggerating.
He's saying O-line is down. They got backups in there. Who am I going to lean on?
He didn't say that.
Other
He didn't.
backup O-line.
He didn't say that.
He
said.
What
he said he don't give a fuck that the O-line is not blocking. Is what he said.
Got it. Well, I will make it better then.
Hey,
I will clarify.
Hey, CB, Master always take. Master always taking care.
Here it comes, boy. Now I'm
Master always coming to the rescue.
This is bullshit. This bullshit, Ian. Don't play me on that shit right now, damn it.
Hey, that's a dirty dog.
That's dirty work, CB.
Hey, CB, I'm gonna send you a clip. Right? I want you to put it up on your screen, and you tell me, because EM wants to play. You talking
about that clip you sent me? You talking about that clip you sent me?
I'm talking about the clip I sent you. I want you to show me, CB. I want you to show me, CB, since we got to play these games with EM because he wants to be literal on everything, right? Show me on that play. Well, on that play specifically,
That's some
when
dirty
I
work
send
in
it to
there.
you and you put it up, I want you to show me where the offensive line was a problem on that play. I want you to show me on that play where Mike McDaniel was a problem. I want you to show me all the deficiencies.
But Lou, I understand, and that's what y'all say, right? There's always gonna be one play. I always talk about this too.
Oh, so now it's one play, one game. That man played like trash.
He did. He had bad plays. We're not arguing that, Lou. There's gonna be plays in the game. When I watch the all 22, there's gonna be plays where he misses. Like, bro. There's gonna be a lot of that. I'm not debating that. That's nothing to debate.
And I didn't even debate. I gave Lou
none of that.
When he called me earlier, he texted me. Well, he texted me, and I called him back, and he had his chest poked out about that one play. Ooh. I conceded that. I gave that to him. I said, "You are absolutely correct, Lou. The protection was sound, right? The route concept was sound, and Cedric Wilson separated, and he clearly was open. And Tua was looking in that direction. He was looking in that window. He didn't see it. He didn't pull the trigger. The pressure got to him. The rush got to him, and he ran it. He basically ran into he created a sack on his own. I conceded that. So where's the debate? There's no debate there.
That's right. I just heard him say he lost, Lou. That's what I just heard.
Yeah, basically. Well, so what you saying? So why you giving me pushback for anything I'm saying?
No. That's one play. That's one play, Lou.
I think Q says something that's very, very good. It says when you lose what is essentially 70% of the offense, and I don't know if it's 70%, right? You're operating with only 30% of the offense. I'm not surprised the offense performed the way it did. And sometimes I think people got to understand that. And I know sometimes you'd like to see guys elevate through not having everything perfect. That's still something Tua has to work through. I'd still like to see him do that too. What does he
equate as 70% of the offense? Is he talking about the O-line and Reek,
talking about or offensive line and Tyreek and everything? Okay. A culmination of everything. So I can see that being the case. And when you're operating at lower percentages, it's going to be tough, bro. It's going to be tough.
Let me ask you this, Cap and Lou specifically, right? So we can all agree that Tyreek, again, he's the most dynamic weapon probably the league has ever seen. Nobody is as fast as he is vertically. I very few, maybe Devin Hester, maybe Dante Hall. It's very few guys that can get open and really just obliterate short areas like Tyreek Hill, right? In the history of the league. So we understand how dynamic a weapon he is. So when he goes out of the lineup, right, and they bring in Cedric Wilson, they bring in Braxton Berrios, they bring in you two guys, this guy, River Craycraft, that elite receiver, right? River Craycraft.
No, he got elite hands. He ain't an elite wide receiver, but continue.
What did Claypool do yesterday?
Okay, so when there's a drop off, obviously there's a steep drop off when Tyreek is in the game and not. Why do y'all put that on Tua? Why do y'all say? Because I hear.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, hang on, Cap. I'll give you an opportunity. So, in terms of Tua, right? Tyreek goes out of the ball game. You substitute him with anybody else other than Jalen Waddle. Really, anybody other than Jalen Waddle. If they're not able to separate and get open as fast as Tyreek Hill, how the fuck is that on Tua? If they're not the weapon, if they're not commanding the attention that Tyreek Hill commands, how is that on the quarterback?
Go ahead, Cap.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm just going to give it to you in simplistic form. Take no offense, please. At the end of the third quarter, okay, the Titans score a field goal going up 13-10 on the Dolphins. The next drive by the Dolphins offense was the best drive of the entire game, and it was for 9 plays for 54 yards, which they got a field goal. After that point, the game is tied at the start of the 2 minutes and 30 seconds in on the fourth quarter. After that, the Dolphins defense and special teams gifted them touchdowns because Tennessee punts the ball, they get the ball down, and the Dolphins score on 7. They've run 3 plays, 7 yards, touchdown. Then the Tennessee Titans fumble the ball. They run 4 plays, 8 yards. So the Dolphins offense scored 2 touchdowns and only needed to get 15 yards to get both of those touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That's it. Their next possession, 5 plays, 8 yards, had the punt. Their last possession, 7 plays, 16 yards, turnover on down. All the rest of it was punts and everything like that, other than the fumble recovery that the Dolphins got. So I don't know what you're talking about. The Dolphins defense did their job. The Dolphins
you're not
offense just
you're not answering my question though. You're not answering my question. What I said was, let me clarify, right? Let me break it down in simplistic form, as you so eloquently put, Cap. No, please take no offense, please. No shade.
Okay, go ahead, buddy.
So my question was, again, the narrative that Tyreek makes Tua, basically who he is, whatever. My question to you, as well as others in the community, Tyreek goes out, he's substituted, bring in, whoever, take your pick of who on the depth chart, who you want to substitute in. Why is it that we know they don't have the same skill set as Tyreek? They're not the same athlete as Tyreek. They can't get open and create separation at the level of Tyreek. So when there is a drop off to the offense and the offense doesn't look like the same as it does with Tyreek on the field, why are y'all putting that on the fucking quarterback?
Well, let me ask you
because if someone's going to be the leader of your organization, when you talk about any football team, a good football team, it's typically coach and quarterback. Coach and quarterback. Coach and quarterback. If it's going to be coach and wide receiver, you're not getting very far. That's it.
Okay.
Calvin Johnson was the greatest player I ever seen.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Anyone. I'm glad you brought anybody in the world, but it didn't matter.
So I'm glad you brought that up. You said coach, right? I'm using your words, your terminology, not mine. You said coach. So if your substitutions don't have the same skill set, and we know what Tyreek Hill brings, and we know the attention that he brings, right? Tyreek's presence on the field alone generates so much space on the field, right? That opens things up for other players, the second, third, fourth wide receiver, etc., running back as well. So if the objective is to create space by personnel, scheme, or whatever, right, in a certain area of the field that you want to compromise, right, if that's the objective and Tyreek Hill goes off the field, well, you substitute and bring in a lesser version of Tyreek Hill. Well, again, I'm glad you brought up coach. Well, this is where the coach comes into play, because if the objective is to create that space, right, to open those windows of the area of the field that you're trying to compromise, well, how else do you do that? If you don't have the athletes on the perimeter to do that,
you can't run an
how do you do that
without creating open up windows? You'd say Tyreek Hill goes down and you can't put another guy in, because guess what? There's not a second guy like Tyreek in the entirety of the NFL.
We understand that. So I'm
going to blame it on the coach. Coach, go find me a Tyreek Hill number 2, so you don't have to drop off in offense, because we need these windows open.
Can I please finish? Can I please finish?
Handcuffed. I sound like I'm handcuffed now.
No, you're not handcuffed. Can I please finish? May I please finish?
Yeah,
May I please finish? No. If you would listen, right? If you would close your mouth and listen.
It's a lot of talking, but you're really beating around the bush trying to say it's nobody's fault because Tyreek Hill wasn't in the game.
Can I finish? No, nobody's trying to say that.
Real quick.
Nobody's saying that. If you pay attention to what I'm saying, right? You're trying to open up areas of the field that you want to compromise. So if you can't do it on the perimeter with personnel, with raw talent, well, how else do you do that, right? There's two objectives. There's two ways to move the football. By air and by running it, right?
32 teams, 31 of them don't have Tyreek Hills.
Can I please finish?
How do they do it? How does anybody throw the ball without Tyreek Hill?
I'm getting there, Cap. I'm getting there. I'm getting there, Cap. And again, I'm using your words. What you said was coach. Coach came out of your mouth. So I'm glad you brought that up. So again, if you don't have the raw talent to generate, to be able to dictate coverage, by defenses. Well, how else do you do that? Well, that's where coaching comes in. If you don't have the raw talent, you don't have the talent on the outside. Well, how else are you going to move the football? You run it. You get consistent with running it. You overly commit if you have to, based off the presentation of the defense, if you have to win the game. Well, that's where the coach failed and fell on his face yesterday, in my estimation, is because based off the coverage that was presented to his offense, right, there was not enough enough. And again, aside from Tua's shortcomings yesterday, he did not commit enough, and he was not committed enough to run them out of those out of those formations that they lined up 80% of the game in. Right? So that's where coaching, you said coaching, and I'm glad you brought that up, because McDaniel, in my opinion, in terms of blame yesterday, it was about 55-45, 60-40 McDaniel, because, bro, if you look at the film and you know how to watch and interpret film, look at those the offensive coordinators line up every week, and they pray to God that they get those coverages that was presented to us yesterday. So you run teams out of those formations. McDaniel did not do that yesterday.
Much of the game, the entirety of the game till the fourth quarter, we were playing behind, right? You realize that, right? Dolphins didn't take a lead until the fourth quarter. You realize that, right?
What are you talking? We won 7-0. What are you talking about?
I mean, it was 1-score games. It was never like 2 scores.
It was, but I got it. But you still got to throw the ball.
And even when we were behind, we wasn't behind 3 scores. The game was still well in hand. The run game was still in play.
It was never a situation where you needed to just air it out. It was
very balanced, if you want to be real.
I think it wasn't
balanced enough. It wasn't balanced enough.
It was 33 attempts by Tua to throw, and it was 28 by the 2 running backs attempts to run. Now, could I ask for more? Sure. But
in that game, it dictated you needed
exactly
to
in that game. In that game, it dictated that run pass ratio was flipped.
So
right, you run it 32 times and
you don't have Tyreek Hill, and that is typecasting this offense. That you're telling me that you don't believe in Tua. This is what I'm hearing. You don't believe in Tua if Tyreek Hill isn't out on the field. That's what you're essentially saying.
No, nobody said that.
That is what you're saying.
Nobody said that. That was not the point. I can't believe you even got that from what I was saying.
Cap, I think that is part of the problem, though, right? And I think when Tyreek Hill goes out of the game, you do need to have a guy ready to go, ready to replace him, and you need to be efficient even in your pass game after he goes out. And maybe you need to start practicing with him being out of the game a little bit, because maybe you won't have him. So that's something.
Has gotten too comfortable with Tyreek Hill doing everything he does,
and that's a good point. I am not going to push back on that at all.
And I think it's handicapped you a little bit, right? You're so used to looking at one guy the entire time that you're not focusing on the other guys on the field. And that's why, hey, maybe this week of practice, Tyreek Hill needs to be on the sideline, resting while these other guys get reps and Tua operates looking at everybody else. Because you can't, because it really could be the gift and the curse. You take an L this game, but maybe this situation kind of propels us to playing better down the stretch. Yeah. When you're focusing on not just Tyreek Hill, but you're also looking at other guys within the offense, and you're forcing Mike McDaniel to game plan differently.
They killing you, Cap. They on your neck in that chat.
Wasn't the Vikings having the Vikings?
They on your neck.
Haven't the Vikings been winning without Justin Jefferson?
Yeah,
they
haven't been doing nothing offensively, bro.
I don't know about none of that, but again,
bro, come on, bro.
This is what I don't like right here.
That's because of shutout.
EM said earlier, right? How do me and Cap can blame Tua if some of the weapons are not on the field? And I'm not saying just Tyreek. I'm just saying again,
the offensive line, everything. Right,
the offensive line. Oh, okay, cool. I get it. So we can't blame Tua, right?
Oh, hang on, Lou. I didn't mean to interrupt you real quick, Lou.
What happened?
Hey, man, listen. I think business is about to pick up a little bit. I just got a text message.
Okay.
And they cannot believe what they're hearing from Lewis as well as Cap, right? And I don't.
What?
This individual said, "Don't make me ask for that link so I can come up here and catch me a couple bodies, bro." That's what this individual just said to me.
Who is that?
That's fine.
I haven't had my ass handed to me
I'm just waiting on OK. Hey, I'm just waiting on OK real quick because I responded back.
If he's scared, tell him to go to church.
You always say, hold on, and when I'm talking. See, it's funny how that works. I don't give a damn who the hell comes up here. I ain't holding my tongue for not a goddamn person.
Ooh,
All right. Okay. Well,
I don't
we
give a shit about none of that. So
well,
to
it's
me,
popping
funny
over
to
here
me.
tonight.
Now
It's
I won't
popping
say
over here tonight.
now to EM's credit, I won't say what I'm about to say now. Don't, and it has nothing to do with EM because EM wasn't one of these individuals.
Okay.
But it's funny because
He put the precursor out there.
I listened to things, right? EM said we can't blame Tua, right? Because there was less talent on the field, right? That's what I heard.
No. I didn't say we cannot. I didn't say Tua didn't deserve some blame.
Okay,
I did not
cool.
say that not one time.
Okay, cool. Well, again, but you gave Mike McDaniel 60% and let's say Tua 40. Is that correct?
Yeah. I do.
Okay, perfect. Last year, we had a defensive coordinator, multiple injuries on that defense, multiple guys out. It would make his job a lot harder to get his job done, right? All I know, I heard simple-minded people in this community, casuals, if you want to call them, right, that would constantly, in every game we would lose, well, Josh Boyer sucks. He can't do, he's 100% of the blame in why we lost. Mind you, against the 49ers with 4 minutes to go, they gave up 23 points. Mind you, in a game where they lost to the Chargers by 23-17, it was Josh Boyer's fault. Nobody wanted to hear. Nobody wanted to hear. Nobody wanted to hear. There was no players. They didn't want to hear about the injuries. They just said 100% of the blame was Josh Boyer. But now all of a sudden, the O-line goes down. Oh, poor guy Tyreek's off the field. Now, Tua's untouchable though, right? Oh, Tua can't get his job done. Where was the same? Again, keep it objective and be 100 for everybody. Don't get in your don't let your panties get wet because we're talking shit about Tua. The fact of the matter is, I don't give two flying fucks who comes up here. Tua played like dog shit yesterday. Period.
We hear you.
So I'm gonna need. Hang on. I'm gonna need a name on that. Who put a name on that, Lou? Who was saying that? Because I know you ain't talking about me. I know goddamn well you didn't fix your mouth to say that I was one of those individuals.
Well, again, I listen. I know we're on the platform, right? And we're starting to get along a lot better than normal. But CB was a mainstayer last year. CB had Josh Boyer in his mouth all last year.
So CB was one of them casuals. CB one of them casuals, Lou. Is that what you saying? CB was one of them casuals.
So here we go. Let's talk about Josh Boyer last year.
Yeah.
Since this where y'all want to go, let's talk about Josh Boyer. Now, Josh Boyer had a very expensive defense, right? He was handed a very expensive defense, a defense that performed well under Flores, right? And this team was built defensively. Like
Were
it was
his
built.
players there?
It was built. It was built for the defense.
Were they there yesterday? Were they there last year?
He had players. He had plenty of players. He lost a couple. He lost a couple guys.
Oh, so now he just lost a couple.
How many guys did he lose, Lou?
Well, how many guys did we lose last night?
How many guys did he lose?
How many guys did we lose last night?
We lost 5. I mean, we were playing with 4 linemen that aren't starters.
How many guys did we lose? So
if we look, so we have 4 guys that are not starters in there, right?
I don't care about none of that.
We lose Tyreek.
I'm talking about yesterday. So they lost Tyreek. Okay, go ahead, Tyreek.
Right, we lost Tyreek. We lost Connor Williams, our center,
so you lost 2 players,
best.
And then look,
so you lose the best player on your offensive. Look. So you
couldn't score an offensive point.
You lose
a special teams and a fumble inside.
You lose. Look,
2 touchdowns for 15 yards. You couldn't do any of that until the fourth quarter. We're missing.
They played. Look. They played bad, but you lost. You lost your starting center, who's the best player in your offensive line, right? And top 5 at the position. And you lose Tyreek Hill, who has literally been a lot of your offense. He's been, let's say, 50% of the offense for the past 5 weeks, right? So when you lose players like that, and you're struggling to run the ball because you don't have a consistent offensive line, these guys haven't played together a lot, you're gonna struggle. I mean, that's the nature of it, and I think you understand that. Even in being a casual, I think you understand
you
that.
just
I
you
damn
just
Oh,
casual.
shit.
Bro,
right,
He
right.
slid that
So,
in there
so,
quick.
so you do
like,
feel
come
like
on,
Lewis is
bro.
a casual,
hold-
CB?
Yeah, he's coming
Oh,
off real casual, bro. Real wolf package,
Hey,
dog.
man, let it, hey, let us know how you
come
feel
on,
now.
bro. Like,
Let
let's
a nigga
not.
know how you feel.
Hey, hold on.
Come on.
I just want to point
Why
out
y'all
the
get me
casual.
going tonight? I was
I just
chilling.
want,
I really
and
was
again,
chilling.
and we're still chilling. We're having a good time. But this is where I don't let casual shit fly out of casual's mouth and not respond. The
I'm
fact of the
waiting.
matter
I'm waiting.
is, you just said right out your own mouth, oh, well, we couldn't run the ball
We
with
struggle.
so
We
why
struggle.
in the last hour and a half before Cap came up here, you and EM were talking about we should have ran the ball more?
Because
Make that
because
make
you
sense.
because
If
the
you telling me
defense is
that we can't run
dictating
the-
that. Because the
ain't we
defense is
struggling?
dictating
But
that.
ain't we struggling?
But it's
with
Tua.
the
Who was struggling
no-name
more?
offense?
Who was struggling more, the run game or the pass game?
Make that make sense. The
Who
man
was?
has been up
Can
here
you
for
answer
2
my
hours.
question?
The
Can you
man
answer
has
my
been up
question,
here for
Lou?
2
Can you
hours
answer
saying
my
we need
question?
to run the ball more, but now
Cap,
all of a
maybe
sudden,
you answer the question. Cap, who struggled more, the run game or the pass game?
Offense was
Tua.
terrible, dog.
Tua.
Okay, so that's the pass game, right?
Right.
Okay, so
The pass game
that's
struggled.
why I say run the ball. That's
But
that's
you
it.
just
Simple math. Simple
and
math.
that's fine. And
Adding and
it's simple math.
subtracting,
You're
baby.
absolutely
It's simple
right.
math.
And it's simple math. But you just on top of everything, I answered your question. Now answer me this: how is it for 2 hours you've been telling us all that we need to run the ball more, but out the same side of your mouth, you're gonna sit here and say we couldn't run the ball because they were struggling yesterday?
I said they were.
Make sense.
Because you can struggle and still be committed to running the ball.
Oh, okay.
Backup guys can run block like a mofo, apparently.
Because literally,
okay, cool.
because Tua was struggling, and you got nobody. Honestly, he wasn't. He was gun shy. Like, let's be real. In that situation,
I don't want him to be gun shy.
I don't want him to be gun shy either.
Why was he gun shy, CB?
Because he was getting hit. He was running for
So,
his life.
see, be careful now. So,
he was running for his life yesterday.
he got it on
on
wax
it
now.
now.
So
See,
you
what
were
he got
saying,
he was
wow,
gun shy.
CB, you're saying that Tua had the jitters and he was,
He definitely had the jitters.
Wow, okay.
Come on, that's real.
Listen,
I keep it objective. And when you don't have,
I will give you that.
But when you don't have your offensive line, that's what you're gonna be. Even Tom Brady, when he was missing guys, when Aaron Rodgers is missing guys, they start seeing ghosts, and it gets a little difficult for them to operate. We know how we used to kill Brady when he came to Miami. And we used to kill him because we would put pressure on him. He would start seeing ghosts in the third
Marino
and
as
fourth
well.
quarter.
Marino as well.
And that's what happens when you shake guys up and when you can get home. When you can get home and you smelling blood and there's blood in the water, them sharks is coming. And when them sharks coming, you ain't stopping them. And that's what happened last night. And you got to find a way to slow the bleeding, right?
Well, how do you do that then? How do you do that, CB?
And you have to.
How do you slow down a pass rush?
Running the football.
Oh, okay.
You gotta run it, Cap. I'm sorry. I know you hate to hear.
I only need my quarterback to hand the ball off to run to win games, then I don't necessarily need them to make the big bucks.
But it's not. But see, that's not every game. How many games has he handed the ball off? Come on, let's be real. How many Cap?
Listen,
Cap, don't get up here, Cap, man.
More
hang
a franchise.
How many times? How many times? How many times has the MVP candidate?
I'm dropping that link. I'm letting y'all know right now. I'm dropping the link. I'm not going to say who it is.
Hey, Cap looks shook. Cap, you all right?
You ain't seen none yet. You ain't seen none yet.
Separate screen that was
okay. All right.
We ain't seen none yet. But I'm just letting y'all know I'm dropping the link right now.
I thought you saw the upper room or something.
No. I had another thing going on. And I was getting two voices in my head, so I was trying to hear you. What were you saying, CB? Because my point about this is that the pressure rate we had yesterday wasn't anything special. It wasn't. I know they got a couple.
You don't think so? Like literally
39% of his dropbacks. That's not a lot.
Like, come on now, Cap. He was getting.
I gotta go through the.
He was moving
39% of his dropbacks. That's not a lot.
He was moving a lot. That's honestly, Tua was stepping up and moving around a lot more than he's used to. That's real.
30.
I'll go.
Wow.
Through the numbers.
I can't believe Cap said that, bro. I mean, really. I mean,
I'm taking you all at your word on that. I don't know for that to be a fact.
39% of his drop.
Did you send the link to somebody? Because I'm about to end it. Or is
Oh, yeah. I just sent it. So they should be pulling up.
Oh, okay.
But 39% of his dropback. That's the most he's been pressured all year. That's not a lot, Cap.
All right, I don't think that's true.
Well, hey, can you highlight Color's last comment? I don't know if it's true or not, but can you highlight that?
It was 12.2%.
Ooh, I don't know.
Pressure rate.
Was it?
That was the pressure rate yesterday.
Couldn't have been. Was it really 12.2?
No, that was without pressure. That was without. Hang on. I'm looking at him right now.
1 out of every 10 plays? Hell no.
No.
What?
He was pressured on 39% of the drive. This is what the stats are saying. 39%. He was sacked 5 times.
Yeah, bro, it's tough. Like, guys, I'm on your side a little bit. Like, I want to see Tua step up and make plays, but we also have to.
And that's all I'm saying.
Look, and this is what I fought you guys for years about. Cap, let's be real. Like, Lewis, let's be real. I fought you guys about this for years. I said, hey, Tua's good enough, but things got to be going well around him in order for him to play consistent and play well, right? And what we saw last night is that things went crazy. It was haywire around him, and it was a shit show. And as a result of that, he didn't play consistent.
And I mean, that's every quarterback. Bro, when Brock Purdy, they went on that 3-game losing streak, right? When they had injuries, right? When they had inconsistencies in terms of the play calling, bro, it happened, bro. And again,
it happens.
I am not saying Tua does not deserve criticism. It happens, bro. It happens every single year.
And that's all we're saying. So what is the problem?
No, bro, but when y'all come up here and y'all say,
but
again, I'm using
Titans are one rung above, bottom. I mean,
the Titans could fuck around and beat anybody next week. That's the
Broncos, we beat them by 50 points, and the Broncos the very next week.
Hold on, when I look at this Dolphins team, where the defense hands you 3 touchdowns that you only needed less than 20 yards to get, I need my offense to do something. And if not everybody's there because there's missing O linemen and I'm missing my number 1 weapon, it has to be my quarterback. That's what I'm saying. It has to be him.
Okay, Cap. So what about
the guy that next year we plan to extend, not go in his 5th year. I plan to extend him. I want him to have that money. He should get it.
Hey, here we go. So we got a special guest.
This shit popping.
So we got a special guest tonight. The homie pulled up. Hey, Finside the NFL is here. Reason has shown up.
What is up, Reason?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's get this shit popping.
Let's get some clarity on the situation. First of all, 39% of his dropbacks, that's courtesy of Next Gen Stats. Marcel Louis-Jacques even tweeted out last night. That's a Next Gen Stats number. As we all know, they even have trackers in the football. So that's from Next Gen Stats. 39% of it. I can give you the numbers and the dropbacks too. He was 39% of his dropbacks tonight, sacked 5 times. When facing pressure, he was 4 of 11 passes for 27 yards, minus 20.4 completion percentage over expected. Without pressure, Tua was 19 of 22 for 213, plus 12.6 completion percentage over expected. All right, that's the first thing. Number 2, when we're talking about the balance, because Cap's right and EM's right, so we got to clarify this. When you look, see, this is why you can't box score watch, because when you look at the box score, it looks like there was balance. But where there wasn't balance, and I texted EM this, was in the red zone. That's when the balance came. And this 100%. Is the perfect example. All of a sudden, right, and Cap, you read the numbers, right? Look at how quickly we got 15 yards and 2 touchdowns by running the fucking football inside the 10-yard line.
That ain't no lie.
I agree.
Now, I will lay that at Mike McDaniel's feet.
Hang on.
Why is Tyreek
Captain Lou? But y'all said we don't. Y'all said forget about the run game, though.
Why is Tyreek, and this is fucking McDaniel, too. Why is Tyreek coming just back in this game? We all know he's banged up, whatever. Use him as a fucking decoy, obviously. Use him to create space. Use your scheme and create space with him as a fucking decoy. That's what, anyways. But it showed he was the only one that could get open on a deep out. And look at how quickly Tua threw that fucking dart, because he was the only one who could get open. But anyways, I digress. Why are we throwing these goal line fades when you've only hit it 2 or 3 times and we've missed it 10 or 11 times and the guy's already banged up? He's not 6'4" with a banged up ankle ready to go high. Pylon,
110%.
Run
110%.
Zero pushback on that for me. I hate that.
3 straight fucking pass plays, bro.
That's
Yo,
bad.
Mike McDaniel alone left 8 points on the fucking board by not running the football.
Hey, real quick, Reason, I got a question for you. Hang on, CB, real quick. Hang on, CB. Hang on, CB. Reason, CB.
Tua was mediocre.
Hey,
I ain't gonna defend. I'm not here to
it's
defend
what?
Tua.
Hey, it's what? It's what? 9:53 y'all time, right? 8:53 my time. Well, last time I checked, the skating rink was closed at 8:00. It sounded like to me, Lewis and Cap, they still got their skates on right now. That's what it sounded like to me.
I haven't had
Where is all of that base? Where is all of that energy at just 5 minutes ago before the homie pulled up? Where was that? That's what I want to know.
I haven't had a
Take them roller skates off, goddammit.
Now,
well, goddamn it, you gotta let other people speak. Is it my turn to debate?
go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, perfect. Reason I'm glad you're up here, right?
What up?
The fact of the matter is, I agree. I'm not pushing back on in certain situations. To your point, in the red zone, we shouldn't run the ball. I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about any specific play or anything like that. I'm just saying the expectations for Tua have changed. And reason I'll ask
you ain't wrong.
And perfect, because EM is trying to paint a picture of what me and Cap are doing. And all I'm saying is the expectation. Again, it is the expectation, right, for an MVP candidate. All I'm saying is if McDaniel, we can all come up here and say, well, he should do this, he should do that. I'm not here to debate that. If McDaniel is calling a play to put the ball in Tua Tagovailoa's hands in these pressurized moments, I just need more times than not, Reason, and if we're going to be honest and objective, more times than not, Tua shrinks in those moments.
Okay, and listen, bro, you're wrong, because I heard you guys listed the times where he's did it against the Ravens, he stepped up. We've listed the times: Arizona, Atlanta, he handed the lead, and Flores blew it. He's done this, but you aren't wrong. Me and Em have even had this conversation. We both agree. Hey, at the NFL level, you've seen more, not winning drives compared to winning drives put together by him. I'm not going to agree, but for example, I'll even bring that last drive down to McDaniel's fucking front doorstep. Why are we calling a screen on 3rd and 2?
Terrible.
I don't know. I hate
when you're already moving the ball. You got Smythe making acrobatic catches over the middle. The middle of the field is your fucking bread and butter. Get the first down, move the stick, spike the ball. You got a minute left. What the fuck do we care about? Just keep pushing the ball. We got to get to field goal range, and then it's on Sanders' point. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why am I calling a screen when they know? And boys, Tyreek wasn't even on the field to be a decoy.
He wasn't, and I don't understand. I don't understand trying to get it to the sideline at that point. Just push it down the field, bro. Like
everybody knows it's
you had a minute.
Like, come on, bro. You still got 45, 30, 50 seconds.
You need 2 yards to move the chains, bro.
Bro,
we are slant merchants at times. Why are we going away from the bread and butter? And see, I'll bring this up too. We were talking about because EM was trying to articulate about putting on McDaniel when Tyreek came out. I'll give you another example. Why aren't we running this wingback look with Waddle when Tyreek's out? Why are you dropping all of these motions? All of our motions are even getting cut in half or taken out of the playbook when Tyreek's out. Waddle's a 4.3, 4.27 guy.
100%.
Speed. Why isn't he practicing this wingback
100%.
stuff? Why? So if Tyreek, listen, and here's the other thing, boys. It just finally collapsed for Tyreek this game. He couldn't come back. We've seen him get banged up multiple times. Why aren't you getting out ahead of this? You didn't get out ahead of our center situation, our number one stars. And what Cedric can't fill that role. So you need Waddle to step in and do those motion things and start getting those releases off the line so you can create space with him. You need to start utilizing him. But
we know he can do that. And we know he can do that.
But
see,
and that,
bro, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Listen, everyone knows I wanted McDaniel when we were looking for an offensive coordinator. That was my guy. I wanted him when the offensive coordinator. I didn't want Stoodsville and Godsey, right? I wanted him or Pep Hamilton. Those were the 2 guys I wanted. And I can't defend what I saw from Mike McDaniel yesterday. That was arguably his worst head coaching performance I've ever seen. He looked like a deer in headlights when he was down. When he was down with those O linemen and he got down his main weapon, he looked like a fucking deer in headlights.
But honestly, I think a lot of coaches would when you're down your center, who's the focal point of the.
CB, you know what it reminded me of?
And I get, but see,
no man, it reminds me of the win and get in against Tennessee. Duke Johnson was screaming to Flores, "Feed me, feed me, feed me!" And said, let's drop Tua back. And what did Vrabel do? Adjusted with Tannehill because of the sleet conditions. Took the ball out of his hands because they couldn't get anything past the sticks through the air. It was either play action or running the football. Right? They adjusted. What did we do? We fell into the same trap just with a different coach. Our running back, you got one guy averaging 4.6 yards per carry. You got another one averaging 6.7 yards per carry. And you're fucking dropping back when, guys, the problem, here's why it matters so much. We can get away with pressure off the edges. When you are a timing and rhythm-based offense who's predicated on getting the ball out in under 2.5 seconds, it's the pressure up the middle you can't afford. Because when you got guys who are doing their long developing routes, that shit's gone when you're flushed out. And you saw how many times was Tua flushing out? 1, 2, read, got a flush. 1, 2, 3, flush. What is that telling you? 1, 2's not there, flush. 1, 2, 3's not there, they're covered, flush. And you even heard Dan Orlovsky said, wow, this secondary's really settled in since Tyreek left because we weren't separating enough.
Yeah, that's a problem. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And that's my problem. Bro. Yeah.
To each the counter punch. Another conversation you need to have about McDaniel.
So this is my thing, but
adjustments in key moments are not his forte right now. Now that may come with time. He's still young at this, but it's not there right now.
But reason he has to get ahead of having guys out, right? So when Tyreek is out, you still got to be able to operate. Like that's the nature of the game.
Well, that's where the commitment to the run game to the ground is even more paramount, bro. Right? Because you got to replicate it. Because I was trying to explain to Cap earlier, right? In terms of the space, trying to create space to compromise certain areas of the field that of your choice, right? You can only do it 2 ways: talent on the boundary, or you run the football and get the defense to commit closer to the line of scrimmage, which opens that window up at that second level.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to do. That's the only point that I was trying to make.
Man rush like the Bills did again, right? The Bills beat us
literally
with that 4-man rush up the middle, and they were doing it yesterday.
Why is he getting
Nico
away?
Autry looked like Jeffrey Simmons. It was unbelievable.
But why is McDaniel's getting away from using like the sprint action?
Dude, it's this
like
2K bullshit, bro. Well, I'm going to go off this. I got to add this. It's this 2K shit, too. We went from Waddle and Tyreek as 1A, 1B to now the chemistry and communication is off with Tua and Waddle like we've never seen before.
Right. I think everybody else on the depth chart. Have you ever seen Waddle and him not be on the same page? I would agree. Times in one game?
I would agree. That was weird. That was weird.
I would agree.
You know they got that connection going back to college, and I didn't see that from them earlier on in this. And you're right. They've typecasted themselves into this 2K thing. The thing I wonder,
I hate it. I hate this 2K thing.
But this 2K thing is about to be put to bed. Because honestly, if Tyreek don't play the next game, it's not happening.
Yeah, but did you hear his wife was telling him to get back in the game?
Yeah, I heard that. But is she telling him to get back in the game for 2K or to help his team get to the
front? 100%.
Oh, come on.
Bro.
Come on. You've been watching the Hard Knocks. He's like,
come on.
I'm talking about his family. 2K.
Yo,
his family's been talking about the 2K like that.
I hope his wife isn't. I hope his wife ain't on that
wave, bro. If he didn't have his ring.
I told y'all going back to last year, I said, bro, that is making me fucking sick. I was like, but a lot of the fan base. Oh no, he can get it. No, we can make it happen. Let him get it.
He's a businessman now. This is your first ballot. You get this 2K, your first ballot.
Oh yeah, you're sure in for the Hall of Fame. 100%.
But look, Tyreek's gonna be there anyways. But
I agree. But there's no question.
He's gonna be first ballot either way. But when you put yourself in a handicap situation where you're saying, oh, I'm gonna force this guy to get.
Bro, I think he wants to win. I'm not saying he doesn't want to
win.
But
we've done it. We've done it organically though. But we've done it organically thus far. right?
Bro,
It
he's
seems
telling reporters in the locker room during interviews that's his family talking about it with him at the dinner table, bro, about the 2K
crazy.
shit. I'm
He's
not
just
even
crazy.
lying.
That's
I think
crazy.
he's putting
But,
too
like,
much
it's
emphasis
up
on it.
there. I'm not saying it's but it's
Yeah.
up there. I put him at
It's
50-50,
crazy.
bro.
But it should come with just playing, bro. Just get out there
I
and
agree.
play. You
He's
don't
the
have to
best in the
talk
world,
about
bro.
it, bro.
He's
Just
arguably the best player in the world, bro.
yeah,
I agree.
it should come with
See,
playing.
See, I didn't hear anything last year, right? Going back to that Cleveland game. Again, we just talked about this last night, right? Or was it today, whenever it was? That is the blueprint that needs to be copy and pasted. That what you saw against Cleveland last year is the most impactful offense version of the offense, most impactful version of Tua. Because the ball distribution, he was diverse in terms of distributing the football, as well as they balanced that off with the run game.
Yeah, and that
That's
Detroit
the
game.
most.
But see,
I don't, and for people to be sitting up here saying, "Well, we got a $30 million wide receiver. Well, we traded this away for time." I don't give a fuck about none of that. The objective is to win. Always is to win, and I don't care what it looks like, bro.
We should be getting Ingo the ball a lot more.
I agree with that.
He should be a lot more involved in the offense.
Bro, use him as a tight end. You don't know whether he's going to block.
He was more
or
involved last year.
He was that's what I'm saying. He was way more involved last year, and we were a lot more efficient last year at times. I felt like, especially when we were balanced and running the football. Like that Cleveland game, Ingo was all over the field, blocking the defensive ends, doing a lot. And when you do a lot with guys like that in the box, we get an extra offensive guy in the box, like a fullback off the edge. And then he can not only pin guys inside, but now he can get into the flats and make plays. That's when you're dynamic. And I think Mike McDaniel has got away from that in order to try to make this offense pass happy, in order to get guys yardage. Like, you got to get back to being in the trenches. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Two things. Number one, I think the most frustrating part is that without Tyreek on the field, if Tua in this offense at any given moment would have won, no matter whether it was running or throwing, it really would have destroyed the narrative that now we're going to have to deal with until the next moment comes up. That's where my point of contention with my frustration is, because now I got to deal with this. Now we all do as Dolphin fans. You know that.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, do you think that the reason he wanted those touchdowns in the end zone to Tua was to try to kill that narrative?
Oh, absolutely, Cap. I think
because I think we can safely say this 2K thing is weighing heavily on Coach. Is the narrative of Tua in big game moments also weighing on him in this way? Is that
for sure.
Is that? I mean, the coach has
But running the ball
together.
protects your guy. It helps your guy out. It helps him be more efficient. Like, I don't understand why you would get away from running the ball if you felt like. I mean, I understand it. You got
that's the only. I can't understand either, toy. That's why I just said that.
Right. It's like you got a shiny toy. Of course, you got Tyreek out there. You got a guy who can throw the ball around a little bit. You feel like you're confident in his abilities, but you still got to run the ball. I think that's the nature of football. I think he understands that. I just don't understand why he gets into the red zone and he wants to pass the ball or throw these low percentage plays. It just doesn't make sense to me.
And Raheem the Dream has gone from a soft guy to he's one of the hardest runners in the NFL this year. He's putting his shoulder down.
Like Derrick Henry.
And he's no fear. Like, I don't understand. Like, and you were there when y'all rode Raheem. You rode him all the way to the freaking Super Bowl with Garoppolo. Like the guy had 248 yards that one game alone. Like
in that Green Bay game in a championship game.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
it was nuts. I don't understand this, man. I just don't get it.
We need to stop. A lot of people.
He is a little bit out of character, honestly. Mike McDaniel does seem a bit out of character when it comes to like passing the ball around. I don't know where he's gotten this from, but it seems like he's just not as good at it as he thought he'd be when it comes to scheming up pass plays and doing all of this stuff. I feel like he needs to get back to running the football a little bit more, and he needs to commit to it. I feel like he'll be a better offensive coordinator, and things will open up more organically if you're running the ball efficiently.
And think about, look, we all know Kyle Shanahan is who he sat up under directly, right? But go back again, like reason I talked about this, like coming into the season when they hired Mike McDaniel last year, right? A lot of people forecasted that the offense was going to look more like what we see in San Francisco. Well, once they acquired Tyreek Hill, we both were in agreement that no, it was going to be more 2016 version of the Atlanta Falcons, right? But in which I do agree, and you're seeing a lot of commonalities between the two offenses. Last year, this year, and as well as 2016. However, but this should be the goal. Right? It should be what Mike McDaniel should be copy and pasting is what grandfather Shanahan, the application that he put forth when they won back-to-back championships, right? They had John Elway in his later years, right? He was no longer the Josh Allen, right? He dialed a lot of that down, and you could say, well, it was due to his age or whatever, but whatever. He was a more structured quarterback. He won more from within the pocket in those championship years. And they had two dynamic receivers, Ed McCaffrey, right? What was the other?
Smith.
Rod Smith, right? Obviously Shannon Sharp, and you balance that off with the run game and Terrell Davis as well as other cast of characters. And what that contributed to two back-to-back Super Bowl wins. We're equipped personnel-wise, very similar to those teams. They had a good defense as well. We do as well. But again, the play calling, and I'm not saying Tua, when he doesn't play well enough, he does not deserve criticism. But again, y'all have to take into account the spotty, the inconsistent play calling, lack of commitment to the run. Y'all need to be, and the people that are reluctant to do that take that position with Mike McDaniel. That is the formula to win. I don't care about how much you're paying guys. That is the formula to win. And that what we saw in Denver, them 2 years, was identical to that game we saw in Cleveland last year. Again, that's the format. That's the easiest way for us to get to our desired destination, to the Super Bowl. It needs to be copy and pasted. All this other shit is nonsense.
Yeah.
And we got a 1-2 punch right now in this backfield that is fucking good.
Yeah.
But, listen, I think reason you came up and said it best, the inconsistency committing to the run in the red zone. That shit's got to stop, bro. And if you're going to throw that fucking fade route, get somebody huge to catch it. Like, get Campbell in there. I remember seeing him do that all the fucking time, jumping and reaching over people back when he was with the Steelers years ago. So I'm not saying he's Claypool, my fault. What did I say? Campbell? Claypool. I'm not saying that that's going to be a plug and play instant thing, but if I'm going to take the shot, I want the big giant guy that's 6+, with big old hands trying to reach up and get it. But I mean,
I think there's still a portion of the playbook they haven't utilized, because from what I understood in the offseason was they had looks in their playbook out of 11 personnel with Izakama that was going to be like 12, that was going to look like 12 and 21 personnel looks in different formations out of the backfield, inline and stuff. So, that's why they were cross-training with Embry and stuff, right? They were cross-training with, and now I think that's what they're trying to do with Claypool. Like the week we got Claypool, and Barrios was banged up that week. And in practice, they had Claypool running all the slot reps. So that tells you they were getting him acclimated to that. But the sense I'm getting now, because he didn't have a special team snap yesterday, and the sense I'm getting is he
had one special team snap, but he didn't have any offensive snaps.
I didn't see any on the snaps.
I remember.
He didn't play at all yesterday.
I'm telling you, I remember seeing him on the field in special teams.
That's the same thing that Lewis said.
I went over the
I saw. I thought it was crazy because I hadn't seen him all game with the wide receiver out, and I saw him in special teams for like one snap. And pathetic though. I mean, the guy has talent.
I have a question for Reason though. Like, what do you think about the lack of using a heavy personnel on the goal line area? Like, why don't we get in double tight end sets? Why won't we just pound the rock?
Yeah, we use heavy sets more in the middle of the field. It's crazy.
I don't understand it.
I don't know. Maybe it's crazy because I think it's a fact that this comes back to what we're talking about with him not running in the red zone. I think McDaniel, we all labeled him as genius, and I think he outsmarts himself. I think he thinks if I run heavy sets and I run the football, they're just going to stuff me because they're expecting it. And I think you're literally getting into a point where he starts outsmarting himself. Because, I mean, run the heavy set. Have you even seen us run a heavy set, play action, and you have one, like a tight end leak out? You never even run that.
Easy, bro. No. These are really easy plays to really throw the.
Yeah, every other team in the NFL runs it.
I don't understand.
And
it.
I did see a lot more play action earlier in the season once the run game got cooking. I haven't seen us do very much play action like we were doing earlier in the year, taking advantage. I mean, in a game
it's
like
more
yesterday,
of just drop backs.
it was
It's
just
more
drop
drop
back
backs.
when we're gouging them on these outside sweeps. Why didn't they run that on a play action on just like a naked bootleg with some bracketed, double routes going over the edge and just try to find one guy open or let Tua run out of bounds a yard or two and live to go another down. I didn't see any of that yesterday in the middle of the field either.
It's
so
tough,
I don't know.
man. It's tough.
It's rough.
Well, let me pose this question to everybody on the panel. Then, should we be? Obviously, there's some concern. I'm hearing it in everybody with McDaniel. I don't think no one's calling for his job.
No.
But should we take play calling duties away? Should we elevate a guy like Frank Smith to, listen, this is McDaniel's scheme. This is his baby. He's creating the game plan. But maybe on Sundays, giving the actual play calling duties to a guy like Frank Smith.
I think Darrell Bevell is the one you go to because he went to 2 straight Super Bowls.
Okay. All right.
But I don't think he's going to give up the play calling because this is what I've said. If Frank Smith gets a job, and I think the idea is next in line, that's why Darrell Bevell turned down interviews. He's next in line. Mm-hmm. He'll get elevated to OC. Then the next OC after him will be Wes Welker. But I don't think McDaniel's going to hand over play calling. It's all ego. I
think it's too stubborn. Yeah, I think he's too stubborn.
You know what? I'm reserving judgment. I'm gonna see how the before I even entertain that. And at that point, I'm not even saying yank the play calling duties away from him. But I'm waiting to see how the rest of the year unfolds. Because if we don't meet expectations, and if McDaniel's, if this is consistent,
maybe he needs to learn under Bevell play calling for a couple seasons. That's not a shame.
Maybe. Maybe. But I'm just saying, for the short term, right? If we don't meet expectations, and the inconsistencies that we see from Mike McDaniel is a large reason why we don't meet expectations. Well, okay, I would entertain it after the season, but as of right now, the immediate short term, no, I think McDaniel, he's not terrible. It's just, again, reason we talked about this before, right? Learning how to win, learning how to call plays situationally when in those pressurized moments, Andy Reid had to go through this, right? Andy Reid was under severe criticism in Philadelphia for years because of his situationally, he wasn't at the level that he needed to be, especially based off the personnel that he had at his disposal. And I see Mike McDaniel in that he's in that same boat right now. Now, again, but it's just unfortunate that we are in a season when we have the highest, based off the personnel, based off the coaching staff you have around you. We are in a situation, the expectations are at the highest level, and it's a tough situation to be in. But this is what he signed up for. We're going to need that consistency. We're going to need that, him to be the best version of himself situationally, just like we put that expectations on Tua and all of these elite and higher end players. If you want to be, if you want to be considered that quote unquote the next genius in that Shanahan lineage, well, we need that production as well on the field.
And that's a tough situation to be in, being a young head coach, right, and having all these expectations on you. But I mean, he's gonna have to figure it out, and I think that's exactly where he's at. I think he's looking at himself in the mirror this week and trying to figure out what he needs to do to get better as a play caller and being a step ahead of these injuries. Because you got to know that weapons are going to go down. You got to be able to plug and play. Even when it comes to, you do it on the offensive line all the time. You shuffle weekly. You need to be able to do it in your wide receiver room, and you need to be able to do it in your running back room. So he'll have to figure it out. But man, I got to shut it down. We've been going for 3 hours. It was a great conversation. I really appreciate everybody coming on.
Absolutely. Hey, man, this was
great show.
Banger over show, CB. Always respect, bro. Lou, Cap, Reason. Damn, the homie pulled up. God damn. Hey, man. Who knows? This same cast of characters, well, a few of them, I don't know. They might be seeing us on a platform down the road shortly, more consistently. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? But
well, you made it seem like Reason was coming up here to scare everybody. I appreciate Reason coming up here, man. Don't say that Reason is the homie. So don't do that, Ian.
Well, don't do what? No.
Ian was trying to juice it. Ian was juicing it up.
No. Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up, Lou.
What's wrong with you? We like
Hey,
up here, man.
well, I'm just going off what Reason said. Reason said, "Em, send me the link, so I need to catch me a couple bodies real quick before I go to bed tonight." And that's exactly what he did.
Reason dragging right now is that
Lou,
body.
That's exactly what he did. God damn it!
Lou and Cap got hella quiet when Reason came up this bitch, bro.
Oh, it got cold in this motherfucker quick. It got cold in this motherfucker
You
quick,
can hear a
boy.
rap piss on cotton in this motherfucker right now.
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
appreciate y'all boys coming through. It was a great show.
Hey, man.
Shout out to everybody. About
Salute to everybody, man. Always respect. Everybody in the chat too, man.
Salute.
Y'all be
Love
safe.
y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all already know what time it is. It's Finn's Take with CB83, and your boy is out. See
Came
ya.
from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. Oof, hey, I gotta flex. I need a Nike bag, give me the check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I sort them out of my way. I don't got nothing to say.